Welcome everybody to the Smile Albion Giants League. I'm here, Snake, joining by the one and only Batu. How are you doing, Batu?
Doing good. Had to do a little double time on the last cast, but now gonna sit down and have a wonderful desk here with you, and for what should be our first playoff set that we're gonna be able to cast here. I'm getting it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you mentioned playoffs. Really exciting time, where everyone tried to make their best into these games. So for today, we have Legionary Cohort versus Beat. Um, as I said, really important games, quarterfinals. So this is like the start of the playoffs. Everybody starts to get in their heads about trying to get to that final and maybe become champs. So what do you expect from these both of these teams?
Well, I'm expecting maybe some off picks and bans, at least to us, as the observers, because we've gone through the whole season. Everybody's played everybody else once, so you've got something to look back on and go, okay, they play this way, they like these picks, they focus around. So you've got maybe not the best research, maybe as necessarily as far as like that could have been 7 weeks ago, that could have been last week. Depending on where the teams go. So it's definitely you've got somewhere to base to go, so you got something to go for there. But personally, I think we're going to see a lot of the same picks of what we've seen in the meta. But I'm very excited to see how this set goes because it's playoffs. If you've got anything you guys wanted to try in the game of a strategy or a comp or something that worked in scrims, now's the time to pull it out. So we might see just the same old good old Smite, or we might see some kind of interesting stuff. But either way, these picks and bans I expect to be spicy and absolutely amazing.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the meta hasn't shifted a bit from the last weeks. We've seen kind of like the same meta going on, especially with the help of SPL also. So let's just jump right into the picks and bans to see what is this game one going to be. Um, so do you think that the first phase of bans is going to be more like meta bans or maybe like team specific target bans?
Well, I didn't get a chance to check. I don't know. I'll take a look here and see. But like I said, these games might have played 7 weeks ago. And 7 weeks ago, it was all about the bow build. It was, that double guardian, tanky jungle. Or they could have played, 2, 3 weeks ago where it's all about those assassin items, whether that's, Bumba's Cabrakan solo lane as we saw last game, or, Bumba's mid lane, Bumba's jungle ADC, wherever we might see it. But I might just see pretty standard as far as the meta picks, but a lot of the prioritization is probably going to be on what the enemy team likes. So this Uller, didn't see it picked or banned last set in that collegiate set we just had, but here, first ban right away, Legionary cohorts don't want it. And of course, Tiamat, tried and true, through all the bans and nerfs and meta changes, she's still up there. She's still ban worthy.
Yeah, the Uller can be a really good hunter and mid laner also because the burst that he can have with all those assassin items, it's really good. And of course, Tiamat, that's really not surprised. She has been banned on picked a lot, almost since she came out, so not really surprised here. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm seeing here a Cthulhu ban. That's not really usual, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not something usual, but definitely looks to be maybe a counter pick, either something they don't want to play or something that they don't want to deal with. I've also seen, take a look here, it looks like RIT has technically taken a name change, so it is Best Coast um, versus Legendary Co-host, so we'll get that fixed here for you guys. Don't worry about that. But with that Cthulhu, kind of interesting to see pick. It's always a strong Guardian. He always kind of ebbs and flows, kind of popping in and out of the meta and whatnot, but, his Descent into Madness is always going to be good. You get more health, you become big, you have a lot of CC and damage. Really not peelable, so he's always going to be strong there. Whether it's ban worthy, this might be something that they might have scrimmed or played against. Just took a look. It actually looked like their set was in week 5 or 6, so very recently. So right as we got into this Mace Tree meta, so there's definitely some teams that if they have any sort of thing that they've played against each other recently, they definitely know what they're looking for.
Yeah, now we're seeing Odin and Persephone ban. So Persephone, for my surprise, she's been a bit more valuable, especially on these division teams. And the Odin, not really big surprise there. He's like the best warrior right now because we know that Guardians in the solo lanes are really good, but Odin is like the only warrior that can be really a trouble for any solo laner there. But talk me more about this Persephone because, as I said, I've seen her a bit, but I don't see her like really available pick. So, what do you think they banned her in the first phase?
I think there's a lot of those gods where I mentioned a little bit earlier. It's just you don't want to play against it. There's just getting locked in that cage in a Persephone alt. It's just no matter how many times it happens, it's just never fun. Sure, maybe if you get the kill before it comes through, then it's not as bad. But there's always someone following up off of it, some peel that it's doing there. And it's difficult. But in our history here, I haven't seen. I don't think can't remember the last time I saw Persephone win a set. It's always been on the black end now. Whether that was because of just comp difference or team skills difference. Sometimes you're just not playing as good, or whether that's just not playing the character well. It's probably been a combination of some of those. So by no means am I saying the character's bad, but it is a preference. And when you're in that first slot, sure, maybe not necessarily something you want to play against. Maybe it's not the meta, but you want to keep some stuff open. At Legionary Corps, they're going to lock in this Geb. It's crazy to think about how a couple seasons ago, the minute Geb's in there, it's, oh, you got to get to late game. And now Geb, it's, oh, not a bad first pick. So crazy to think that how one ultimate change can just bring a pick right up there, even though the playstyle of the god doesn't change at all.
Yeah. And also the Aryaban, I mean, really not surprised because she's been one of the best solo laners out there in the Guardians. But the Geb also had that kind of flexibility, right? Like, I know the most comfortable position for him is going to the support role, but we've seen, especially in the minor league or the challenger, that he's been kind of valuable in the solo lane. So you have that flexibility there. And now the response for Best Coast is Ahoyi and Osiris. Osiris, a really good solo laner, but not really viable right now, maybe. And the Hoyi, you gotta get those ricochets there.
Yeah, it's trigonometry. We're talking about that first, as this pick was picked in that one as well. But just a lot of pressure that Hoyi can bring, and interesting to see the Morgan hover into the Hoyi. That too, I don't the abilities gave me here, but just that reveal of that character that you can do that makes it so difficult for this Morgan to have a lot of pressure. But regardless, they're still going to lock it in with, of course, one of those terrible twos kind of combo that we love to see. It's either Cthulhu or Tsukiyomi seem to be the going combo with them. Is just double Tsukiyomi, double Cthulhu. It just gives you so much pressure and damage. So Legionary Cohort's drafting kind of what they want to draft. This Gab, I really like to kind of keep these two kind of dive picks in there very safe. And as far as this Osiris, you mentioned he's not the best solo laner. I'm kind of agreeing with you. I'm really seeing this Osiris is going to be in the jungle, which is kind of interesting for me because by no means is the bow build or that kind of attack speed build gone, but Jotuns and Crusher and all those mace items are just so strong right now. And while Osiris can excel with those, it's not exactly his go-to of most builds.
Yeah, I was going to mention that also he has that flexibility, but we also haven't seen him really much in the jungle, especially with the changes for the assassin items. But what I'm seeing here in the legendary cohort is that they've kind of like maybe going to this heavy dive composition because with a Geb and a Tsukiyomi and a Morrigan that can turn into whatever of those two and maybe an Osiris also, you kind of have like a really hard dive composition there.
Yeah, it's very dive centered, and I kind of like it. You've got the Tsukiyomi and that Morgan to give you some good pressure in that early to mid game, and let that get online, get that late game, get that tankiness in this 3v3 right now. It's looking like, I'm guessing, Disco, Osiris, and then some support. There's not a whole lot that I'm really looking in favor for Best Coast here. Sure, that tether for Osiris is going to be really difficult as Geb, Morgan, Suki can't really deal through it. But if it's only on one of them, Geb shield, nice cleanse, no real damage there. The Disco Apple, that shield's going to be able to eat a lot of that damage as well as cleanse the intoxicate ability. So really in that 3v3 where you kind of want to abuse the Geb, really abuse his early game squishiness, needing those items and levels, that just kind of the long cooldowns he has. And I'm not really able to see that abuse, but as we see these bans, ADC focus for Best Coast, Legionary Cohort is focusing towards that jungle. this Pele pick I might have to eat my words. This might actually be Osiris in the solo lane.
As I was seeing the bans from Legionary Cohort, I thought that, if they're banning assassins, that Osiris is probably going to the solo lane. And it's going to be as Best Coast lockdown that Pele there. Really a character that, it can be really good. It's really had a lot of burst damage, but also we haven't seen her much. Maybe it's because try to counter that dive composition that Legionary Cohort have, or it's just maybe a comfort pick.
It might be a little bit of the comfort pick, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more of Pele. Just she loves that early game. Get her that Jotuns and that Crusher, Brawlers, whatever, the couple of those maces online, and her damage, just that burst damage is so good. And right now, I love it. Geb, maybe not you. Maybe you don't have the best way to cancel the dash, but you've got a lot of mobility to kind of chase him down, follow him through the Morgan and Tsukiyomi. There's a lot of counter potential you have there just with the cone autos, all that sort of damage. This Chernobog, probably your best matchup into the Pele right now. Nike has a little bit of good with that pushback, but a lot of early pressure here. But I kind of like the Pele. It's definitely designed to get them to the late game, as Pele late game could really struggle, really kind of gets burst down. You got to play very much that kind of low-key style, assassinate when you can, get out, be very careful with it. But I don't know, with these drafts, that Kepri locked in last, there's some spicy drafts for sure in both these teams.
I mean, what you said about the pillar, like she can get really bursted. That Kepri can help with that, with those ultimates, especially in the late game team fights. That can be really helpful to Pele to survive. Like maybe take down the backline and then expecting to die, but then the Kepri just got her back. And for Legionary Cohort, and Chernobog and a Nike, adding more even dive to that composition. So a really dive hard composition for them. So
Yeah.
the draft is ready. Now, who do you think is it taking game one?
I think if Best Coast they go into some of these late game fights, because I think it's going to go pretty late. They both have some good late game picks. They both have some good early picks. So unless someone just kind of dies a couple times with some misplays, I think we're going to get a pretty late game. But if we get Best Coast get late, they got to get a pick, get someone and start a 4v fight. Because if not, Nike ult, Geb ult, this Morgan, whatever she transforms into, it's going to be pretty favored for Legionary Cohort.
Well, let's wait no more and see who is going to take game one. Norwal and Voiceless, take it away.
Thank you very much, King Batu and Snaked. You heard it from the man himself. This is the Voiceless one combined today with Narwallaby. We're going to be casting this set between Legionary Cohort and Best Coast. I'm excited to see this one get underway. What do you think about this set so far? Well, not so far, but what do you think about these comps and how this is going to go for us, Narwhal?
Well, so far, I just want to say I'm just excited we get some more playoff smite action coming out here from our Vikings division. We had a playoff match yesterday that I had the pleasure of being on cast for as well between Gridlock and Gamer Hub All Stars, and that was a fantastic 3-game set. So I'm hoping to see the best come out from both of these teams. When you look at playoff matches like this, a lot of times it comes down to who has the best mentals coming into the game, because a lot of times you get a little bit of the nerves coming in, because these are the games that truly matter when it comes out to it. But looking at these drafts, I really like what Legionary Cohort has going on. They have a lot of the safety, pretty good peel for their carries. They have good initiation with the Chernobog and everything, so I'm looking for them to kind of gas pedal this game.
Yeah, I really like the comp from Legionary Cohort coming out here. Not that I necessarily dislike Best Coast. I'm not personally a huge fan of Ho Yi. I think a lot of what he does can be done better by other hunters. Oh, very early invade in the mid lane here. That's going to result in a very dead Discordia. Very well played out from Pittsburgh. Adams going to pick up the first blood. A little bit of bounty coming out there. A little bit of experience on your jungler, which you're going to want. So very well done coming out from him. So yeah, just like both of these comps, I don't think I hate either one, for sure. But a couple of the things coming out from Legionary Cohort, the survivability of the Nike, the shield from the Geb, global ultimate from the Chernobog. These things are all going to kind of coalesce to make a nice synergy that I think will favor Legionary Cohort.
Yeah, Discordia already taking a bunch of pressure in the mid lane. A little bit of interesting pathing. I'm not really sure why she was over in that left hand of the jungle as Geb getting really low on that HP.
Where's the shield? Is it off cooldown? He gets the knockup. Gonna try and keep running away. Ooh, body blocks are very good. Oh, but the root going to get what they're looking for, and a follow-up kill. Best Coast gets 2 over in the duo lane.
Yeah, really good job by the Khepri there to secure one of the kills and then pluck the Chernobog. And Chernobog did have the beads, but at that point he's in no man's land. It's going to be really hard for him to be able to get away from that. So holding on to the beads there, probably the correct decision. It's a bit of an invade coming out here from the Morrigan. Disco trying to rotate over. She does end up securing that to steal it away. But yeah, duo lane already getting under pressure. Pele blinked over the wall looking for Morrigan, didn't end up finding them. But one thing I do want to point out is we have the Mannequin Scepter built on the Morrigan in the mid lane. Typically when you see that built, the Morrigan is going to go into that Hidden Blade, which is typically your one-shot Morrigan builds where you come out of stealth and just one tap a backliner with your abilities. And if she's able to get to that point late game, it's going to be quite a bit of damage coming out.
Absolutely, that is a sight to be feared coming out of the late game, especially combined with that stealth, as you said. Kind of makes her a little bit of a second jungler, or an assassin kind of, as you enter more towards the late game. Have to see how that plays out as the game goes on. But yeah, things looking still pretty return to normal. Geb and Chernobog both returning to lane. Attempted freeze coming through there from the Khepri. He'll get the feet of Geb, but Geb's alright. He'll be... Oh, wow. Never mind. Hang on. Maybe Geb isn't alright. He's going to use the shield, and the rolling boulder will get him back away to safety. Now he needs to provide just a little bit of heal. Yeah, there's an invade coming in. The jungler has arrived, looking for some kills. Nicely dodged on that root. The knockup is good, and now the jungler has arrived for Legionary Cohort, providing a little bit of peel, but not going to connect with his ultimate on the target he'd like. Shield comes up at the perfect time for this Chernobog, but he'll be grabbed by the Khepri and locked down. But the jungler for Legionary Cohort in this Tsukiyomi going to find a counter kill over on the Hou Yi. So not completely a loss there from Legionary Cohort. They do get a little bit of what they'd like, and potentially a bigger dive coming in here. They go underneath the tower. He's at a sliver of health, this Khepri. Are they going to be able to secure it? Yes, they do. Tower dive successful, so 2 kills actually going the way of Legionary Cohort. Well played from them. They will get the upper hand coming out of that invade of the duo lane.
Yeah, pretty heavy engagement over there in the duo lane. Pele making the rotation early, able to help pick up that Chernobog, knock him down as Tsukiyomi also made the rotation and cleaned up that Hou Yi. But one of the things we might have missed coming into that was the Morrigan hit level 5, ulted into the Chernobog in order to rotate over to that fight as well, and able to get an assist on there. But what I really like to see is this 3-0-0 coming out from the Tsukiyomi already. Tsukiyomi is definitely one of those junglers who, when he's ahead, he's an absolute menace to try to deal with. So him getting these early leads, already got his Jotun's Wrath online, already building into tier 1 of that next mace, which, you know, could potentially be either Brawlers or Crusher. Either one of those going to be a decent pickup for him. I doubt he goes Titan's Bane this early, but definitely looking to he's throwing his influence around the map very well.
Absolutely. I love the rotation coming out there to support both of those kills, in fact, don't happen without good rotations from your jungler and your mid laner there. Otherwise, that's a best coast probably solid kill, and they walk away, maybe even get 2, a second one onto the Geb that managed to escape. So yeah, very well played. Team play good from Legionary Cohort. I like that coming out from them.
Yeah, exactly. And one other thing I want to kind of point out too, we do see the Bumba's Dagger was picked up on this Osiris over here in the solo lane. As Tsukiyomi now makes the rotation as it's forcing out Osiris ult, as he's like, I don't really want to deal with this pretty large Tsukiyomi already. But the Bumba's Dagger being picked up, probably going to turn into a Bumba's Hammer here once he hits level 20.
Uh-oh, wasted ult coming out here from the Tsukiyomi. Not going to connect with anything, and that means Pele will get a kill onto the opposing jungler. Unfortunate for Pittsburgh Adam. He's going to drop there, losing a little bit of that lead he was starting to gain, giving some back over to the opposing jungler. What I was going to ask before that all went down is I don't play a lot of jungle, so Is that worth it if you rotate over as a jungler and you get an ult from the solo laner, especially one like the Lord of the Afterlife? You feel okay about that, or are you kind of like, opportunity wasted?
For the most part, I'm okay with it. Is the Morgan here looking to chase down this Khepri? He's gonna
Go for it.
He's going for it.
Not
He
quite
is
enough damage. I think
trying-
this is a throw. No.
diving a bit too far was that Morgan there. Chasing Khepri under the tier 2 tower. Did get the Khepri ultimate out, but trading out your ult and your life for level 6 support, not really the best opportunity. But back to your point about the jungler rotating over and forcing an ult. In that scenario, it's definitely worth it for him because he's already on that side of the map. He didn't have to use any ultimates when he went into the lane to force it. Unfortunately, Pele was also on that side of the map, so that kind of forced that out. Pele able to get the shutdown kill onto the Tsukiyomi there, so a little bit more of a bonus coming out from Pele. But if you can, at this point of the game, when you're Tsukiyomi, you can kind of throw a bit of your weight around, and if it makes Nike's lane a little bit easier, it's just an extra bonus.
Well, we see another invade coming out here over in the duo side, using the ultimate from the Tsukiyomi. Not going to quite connect with enough damage to get kills, but will get himself dashed back in. But that will confirm his death, as the Osiris will lock down and kill the jungler. But they return it back. The jungler for Best Coast goes down as well, in combination with the Osiris. So a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Legionary Cohort here, and they will chase away the Discordia that had attempted to invade that area. But over here in duo lane, we do see the Hou Yi getting a lot of damage. Might get this entire tower because there's nobody there to prevent pressure. I think he will. I think that's a tower gone. Yep.
Yeah, Chernobog there using the ultimate to rotate over to that fight. I mean, it works out for him. He gets 2 kills off of it, but Hou Yi, who can't make those kind of rotations, just stays over in duo lane. And unfortunately for the Chernobog, there was a wave there with Hou Yi, and Hou Yi with Crusher as well at this point, and a ton of damage already coming out onto this Chernobog who just got back to lane. Hou Yi knocking down that tier 1 tower over in dual lane. You can make arguments that that's going to be a little bit more potentially worth for the entirety of Best Coast, as he's going in here.
Uh-oh, ult comes down, chunking down the Tsukiyomi to just a fraction of his health bar. Gonna try and use the ultimate to get what he's looking for. Will dash back in, gets the kill, and manages, no, doesn't get away. The root coming out. Actually, it's the killing blow from the Pele, who also result in the death of the Chernobog that had moved in to try and support his teammate. I think this is a very dead Geb as well. Little bit overzealous there, trying to look for kills. They do get one, but it results in the death of 3 members of Legionary Cohort. No way. He's using the rolling boulder. He's making it. He does have a little bit of a lead on the people chasing him. There is a Khepri nearby. Yep, the root will confirm a stun at least. Don't know if the death will come through just yet. He does have heal pots, and so is regaining health. Teammates are here to help. Are you kidding me? No! Why did you go back in?
He just kept walking.
No. He just needs to keep running away. Why did you turn around?
Support confirmed trolling. But that's, I mean, I guess it's fine. He delayed long enough for his teammates to show up, and then he wanted to show them that he was in trouble and that he was going to die in front of everybody.
We've had so much action coming out here in terms of team fights, just one side of the map to the other. This is the first time in the game that anyone's even placed a ward at Full Fury.
Yeah, a lot of fighting coming out between these two teams. They're definitely getting the nerves of a playoff match shaken off very quickly here, as we already have 16 kills at 10 and a half minutes into the game. But Legionary Cohort pulling this Gold Fury as they noticed, most of Best Coast had back to base and went away, but Best Coast is trying to answer it up with the Pyromancer of their own, as Geb gets kind of caught out on the rotation there coming in, but he should be fine at this point. Only one person chasing after him.
So I have another question. It's going to showcase a little bit of lack of game experience here for me, but I'm okay with that. I'll take the blow for everybody out there in the Smite community. How does gold work out when it comes to trading Gold Fury for Pyro? I know that Gold Fury is worth more. Pyro is not as much as the Gold Fury, but do you happen to know how much it is one way or the other?
When it comes to exact values, I don't exactly know the values, because Gold Fury scales as the levels come up. I mean, I believe at this point in the game it's about half as much gold as what you're going to get from a Gold Fury. As you know, Best Coast there, we have the wonderful spectator pulled up the graphs, so you have about a 1,000 spike up, and then about another 500 spike down, and then it's kind of just like teetering here at this 1,500. So you look at about half of the gold at this early point in the game. As the game goes later, Gold Furies start being worth slightly more. But they also change forms. This next one that's going to be spawning is looking like it's going to be an Oni Fury. So Oni's going to give slightly less gold, but it also gives you a different kind of a buff.
Interesting. Well, that's good to know. So in the early game, about half as much gold, probably less so as the game goes on.
Yep.
Good information to keep stored in my memory banks there. But yeah, for the moment, it looks like the game has actually calmed down. The slugfest for the past couple of minutes has come to a pause. We saw neutral objectives taken on either side of the field. And laning phase kind of coming back here, although this Tsukiyomi is very far forward. Going to steal a camp away, maybe looking to invade and get this blue buff. No, it's already on cooldown. Was that
Yeah,
stolen? There is a Nike with blue buff. Is that his own or was that stolen? I'm not sure.
No, it looks like Osiris does have his own blue buff.
Yes, he does. Yep.
Oh, Chernobog getting soloed out by this Hu Yi. This Hu Yi has been really dominant over here in this dual lane. Even though he's at just 2-2-2, he's got 2 less deaths than his lane counterpart here. And the Hu Yi matchup into Chernobog is one of those that they can go either way with who's going to win it. As we have slight variations in these builds so far. Both of them do end up going to Aussie, but Nike under a bit of pressure here from this Osiris. She needs to be careful.
Sentinel of Zeus going to make sure she gets at least underneath her tower, will get away successfully, and now the jungler's here to provide peel, maybe punish this Osiris for going so deep. The rest of the members of Legionary Cohort are here as well. That is an excellent gank. They'll get the kill that they were looking for. Absolutely. As long as this Chernobog doesn't lose himself underneath the tier 2 tower, that is definitely worth for Legionary Cohort.
Yeah, Chernobog kind of turned around that
Blink.
trade, but who you knew he had backup coming.
Yeah, that scared me. The blink forward, he'll get it. Wow. Just as we thought we had made it away safely, the Chernobog does lose his life under tier 2 tower, equalizing that gank over on the right side, meaning that Best Coast still maintains their lead of about 1,000 gold for the moment. Nothing insurmountable. Definitely something that can come back in 1 or 2 team fights tops, but something to keep an eye on as the game goes on. Don't want to let that snowball into anything more drastic if you're Legionary Cohort. Keep an eye on those camps, make sure you get your farm up. Don't waste a lot of gold coming out here on the map.
Yeah, Chernobog is a little bit behind in gold now. A lot of these fights he's not really going to have a good opportunity to take. But, man, I don't really get much time for analysis here, as these teams are just loving to fight with each other constantly. always seem to be invading in the jungle, walking through the enemy jungle, or looking for picks all over the places. Geb, forced to use the sprint, does get rooted. Looking like he's going to be in a lot of trouble forced into the ultimate there.
Does he have the... Yeah, there we go. Yep, I was like, he's going to have to use his rolling boulder that he will get away there, but ultimate down. They did get the red camp, though. Buff you can currently see there on that Morrigan, so they did steal that away. So small win there for Legionary Cohort. I like the aggressiveness. It can sometimes feel oppressive to do aggressive things when you're down, so I like that they haven't lost their edge. Still trying to get wins wherever they can get them. That's how you bring this back and don't let things spiral out of control. So Legionary Cohort definitely still making sure to stay in the driver's seat here. I like that.
Yeah, and really at this point of the game, there's not really anything that's really standing out as too crazy. Best Coast does have the slight experience lead. The gold lead is, at this point pretty much negligible. Maybe about 500 gold separating the two teams, which at this point of the game doesn't really mean much of anything. Maybe a couple extra wards here and there. What's really going to set things off here is this next Gold Fury, where both of these teams are going to be looking to secure this objective, which if you're Best Coast, you need to get some extra wards up behind you. With the way this Morrigan is starting to build, she can definitely get to the back line and really mess up some carries if she gets back there.
Yep, taking quite a big chunk of damage, going to be forced to use his shield to disengage. Looks like the Harpies will be split. Oh,
One way?
not quite. Yeah. Oh no, both
Legionary
going the way of
Cohort
Legionary Cohort. they will get vision, which is very good for them. That means this Geb can fall back and disengage, and they will have.
Good job, Nate.
The stun's coming down, but that's the ult use. So ult exchange for ultimate. The Geb will get away with his life. The leap coming through for Nike. Now it's a full retreat from Legionary Cohort. They know they cannot stay here. Lots of damage going on to Best Coast, though. A couple of them being punished for engaging too far
Tsukiyomi
alone.
going
The
in.
ultimate from Tsukiyomi. Are you kidding? Don't go in alone. Wow, backup coming through from the Nike. Going to provide some peel. Both players from the tanking side of Legionary Cohort here to provide. That's the ultimate used on Kepri. Going to make sure he can't go down. Kills are exchanged either way. That's a jungler and a mid laner exchanged for the hunter coming out from Legionary Cohort. That means that Legionary Cohort at a disadvantage here. This full health Geb is here, but lots of members from Best Coast rather low. So this Geb maybe trying to start something big. Stun coming out here, but he will get himself punished and taken down. Leap coming through. Kill onto the solo laner, but a dead Tsukiyomi is your response. Very low health here is this Nike, trying to get an additional kill. Tomahawk Warrior will fall, and it's a deicide for Best Coast as 3 remain alive. Very bruised and battered, but alive here for Best Coast. That will net them the Gold Fury.
It's gonna be really close if they actually have the health bars to do this. Looks like they might lose the Kepri here. Yep, they lost the Kepri.
No!
Lost the Kepri, but they got the objective. Kepri could have backed out, but then you might lose one of the carries. So if you're going to lose somebody to the objective, the Kepri is the one that you're willing to lose. But I want to go back to that, talk about that fight and that little engagement. If I'm Tomahawk Warrior, I am livid at my teammates. He did so much there. He got the Geb out at the initial point, and then he goes back in and he gets his Tsukiyomi out after the Tsukiyomi ults in, and then the rest of his team just start funneling in and just dying to Best Coast, as there's still 5 members of Best Coast all around, and they're just funneling in one by one. Tomahawk Warrior doing everything in his power to try to save his teammates there. Is double Chernobog's coming out chasing the Suyi down.
Maybe if they can get him, they can negate some of this lead that is built up for Best Coast. The knockup not going to quite hit for this Geb. Rolling Boulder going to hit just a little bit. The stun is good.
Kepri.
The shield and the Kepri ult are good as well. They will confirm the safety. He will get back underneath the Phoenix and then fight, despite the fact that they have chased him the length of the map. Legionary Cohort are going to come up empty-handed here and be forced to retreat.
Well, empty-handed, but they did secure Pyromancer for themselves while all of that was going on. It's been quite a while since I've seen teams dive a Phoenix with a tier 1 and a tier 2 up trying to get a kill. This is playing out more like an arena game than a playoff game at this point, but both of these teams really want to get this victory here, so they're trying to do whatever it takes to get the kills on the enemy team.
Legionary Cohort do steal away the red buff once again. Geb shield comes down. They're trying to punish here for the invade our Best Coast. They get 1 kill immediately onto the Morgan. Answer with another onto the support. That's 2 dead members for Legionary Cohort. 1 did go down to the Tsukiyomi, but that was quite some time ago, so it won't be long before Discordia is back online for Best Coast. With that man advantage, they pull Fire Giant. Exactly. We're about the time when that starts to matter. 20 minutes here. And Legionary Cohort, because of that red buff invade gone wrong, gonna hand Best Coast a little bit of a free Fire Giant. This may be an attempted steal here from Tsukiyomi. I'm nervous about this. Oh, especially with the punish onto the invading Nike. Gets punished out, jumped on by a couple members of Best Coast. The Suns come out. Best Coast will confirm the Fire Giant, and now they're gonna turn and try and melt this Tsukiyomi. He is running for his life, but he's going the wrong direction. He's got nowhere to go this way. He's gonna ult back in, trying to find something. Doesn't have anything to go for. Discordia will confirm the kill. The Nike over at the bottom did manage to get away as everybody peeled away to get the kill onto the invading Tsukiyomi. Tier 2 tower, 1 and 2 towers both go down over in left side thanks to this Chernobog doing some split pushing during that Fire Giant. But Fire Giant now up on 5 members of Best Coast. They definitely have the advantage here.
Yeah, really good recognition by Best Coast, understanding that, hey, they expended so much to try to kill that Huyi over there in duo lane that a lot of those ultimates were still down, so this is a pretty free pull on that Fire Giant. Chernobog left stuck over in duo lane, not able to make that rotation. He does at least trade it out with a tier 1 and tier 2 of his own, but Best Coast now securing themselves about a 2,000 gold lead at this point, but you know, a 2k lead and a Fire Giant, they're probably going to look to wipe off the rest of these last remaining tier 2 towers. They got 3 of them still up, so that's a decent chunk of change left that they can still put in their pockets and try to further their lead at this point. But up 10 kills as well here over Legionary Cohort. Things are looking up and bright for Best Coast as Pele going in under this tier 1-2 tower.
Gonna look for something. The stun is good. Very low health.
that
Oh, but a
revive.
perfectly timed Kepri ult going to get the revive off. That's the Apple of Discord onto the Geb. He's fine. He'll tank that. Osiris is here laying waste to the back line. He'll get one before he gets himself taken down by the Morrigan. That's another going down. Holy kill. 2-for-2 exchange so far. The Geb on a sliver of health gets the shield up just in time. Trying to provide some peel. The Nike with the Sentinel of Zeus gets all the peel in the world. The Geb is going to go down. Gets the damage off, not quite going to confirm any kills though onto the Ho Yi. Now it's just the Nike running for her life underneath this Phoenix. Does get a knock-up with the leap on, very good. Gets a couple of pushbacks with the shield. Where is the Tsukiyomi here? Approaching, there we go, from the bottom of the screen. Just in time here to get the Phoenix to safety. So that does mean this Fire Giant, you know, that hurts, right, for Legionary Cohort. But you knock Fire Giant off of 2 members of Best Coast, and because they're a little bit hurt, I don't think they're going to try and take these other two towers, at least for the moment. Looks like a couple of them going back, maybe spend their gold there. So while you do lose 3 in that fight, I almost consider that a win for Legionary Cohort just because you saved 2 of your towers.
Yeah, Legionary Cohort, yeah, well, they do lose 3 people, but at the same time, like you mentioned, taking Fire Giant off 2 members of Best Coast and a decent chunk of ultimates and relics away from them as well. Best Coast does secure that tier 2 tower for themselves. They look to push into the Phoenix, but a little bit too low HP. I don't believe they had a wave pushing with them right away, but they're going to look to take this Gold Fury for themselves while they still have Fire Giant. I believe they have Fire Giant for probably about another minute or so here, so Gold Fury looking like the objective that they want to try to secure for themselves is Pele and Tsukiyomi over here in solo lane about to have a tussle.
Does Tsukiyomi know that the Pele is here? I'm a little fearful for him. He is going to start working on the tower. Now he definitely knows. Damage coming out. Holy cow, he's chunked down. Just a sliver of health remaining on the Tsukiyomi, using the ult, trying to get something off. Will get the dash. No, dies to the tower! Oh, before he can take down the Pele, who survives on a sliver of health, but the global ultimate from the Chernobog going to confirm the kill onto the Pele. They do get that, at least, but they lose 2 members, well, 1 member of their own in the fight going on here in mid. They did lose the jungler over in solo, so that's going to mean that the dive comes through underneath this tier 2 tower. Best Coast can definitely pick this up now, should they so choose to. Yeah, Chernobog is
this Phoenix here. Discordia did back though, so she's probably going to be able to defend this as they're able to knock down that tier 2 in mid. What a play by the Pele, throwing out her 1 there, and the returning shots were enough to kill the Tsukiyomi before Tsukiyomi was able to finish channeling the entirety of the ult, which really close trade out coming there, but now Chernobog kind of stuck in no man's land. They're searching for him, and Huyi able to find him here. He's probably not going to be long for this world with 4 members of Best Coast nearby.
No, I don't think so. His teammates not really in a position to help. Most of them are nowhere near. They're going to sacrifice him to the wolves to get themselves out safely after that fight. So they do get the tier 2 tower over in solo lane and get about 75% of the health of the Phoenix down. So mitigating wins. They do lose a couple players and the tier 2 tower in mid in exchange. But if you look at the slash line of kills, doesn't quite tell the whole picture. Legionary Cohort doing a very good job of keeping this game competitive, despite the fact that Best Coast has doubled their kills. Only a lead of about 4,000, a bit less even. So making sure to take lots of objectives off the map, getting camps, getting towers, keeping things competitive.
Yeah, I mean, this really just goes to show how well Legionary Cohort has done with just farming the map in general. You know, typically when you see a team doubling another team in kills, it's a blowout gold-wise, but being only about 3K, 3.5K down is pretty impressive here, all things considered. But this Chernobog, they've been using him very effectively to knock down a lot of these towers and get the global gold for the team. So I think that's been one of the big boons for them coming in.
So much fighting, and there's going to be more. Hang on, that's a dead Morrigan coming out early on in the fight, but they're going to answer it back with a kill onto the Pele. That was the original target of aggression. Geb will die over in the backline trying to provide peel. Now there's a couple backliners from Legionary Cohort trying to get aggressive. The ultimate comes out from Tsukiyomi looking to get lots of damage. Does so. That's a dead response over onto the Discordia. Kills going either direction. It's a 3-for-3 trade. This Nike is the latest to fall. It's now a 4-for-4 trade. It's just a support versus a Hunter. I do think in the long run, the Hunter probably wins that, especially at level 20. So that's going to result in the Khepri having to run away here, but almost a wipe of both teams across the board here. Very intense coming out from both teams. I
Kemper's
can't
playing
believe
Ring Around the
what
Rosie here.
Ring Around the Rosies just keeps on going.
It's one of those where you just gotta kind of laugh at the hilarity of the situation of Kepri, just like he's going around the circle again. He's just gonna keep
Honestly,
doing
this
it.
is well paid.
I mean,
from
all
the
he's doing is
Khepri.
buying time, but
Yeah,
Morgan
you're
coming
eating
in
up
now,
so much time here, wasting all the time in the world. That Hunter could have done quite a bit with that.
and he gets out.
Yeah, manages to get himself out alive and wastes all the time of Hortlutz to try and do anything alone as that Hunter. They will pull the Fire Giant as their respawns come back much quicker than those of Best Coast, although starting to take quite a bit of damage. There's no tank here just yet. There's the Geb. It's starting to melt. There's a player coming up here from Best Coast, going to try and look to steal about 10% health left on the Fire Giant. Legionary Cohort do secure it and get the kill. Yes, onto this Pele that had tried to invade to get the steal off. So they get the Fire Giant up on all 5, perfectly timed with the respawns as well as the kill. That is the shot in the arm Legionary Cohort needed to get themselves back onto level ground. It is anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, Hortlitz on that Chernobog there, able to utilize that Aussie lifesteal that he got just enough with the crit to tick himself just healthy enough where Pele was unable to get the final kill onto him there. Good recognition again by Legionary Cohort to just let the Khepri walk at that point. All he was doing was just being a distraction and picking up that Fire Giant. Unfortunately, still early enough in the game, so it's not enhanced, but this does give them the opportunity to kind of push down this left-hand lane, maybe pick up this last tier 2 tower in mid. But this is the point in the game where they're going to start looking for these Phoenix Sieges coming up. As Morgan is now level 20, starting to back to base. This could be her back to buy the Hidden Blade. We'll see what she ends up getting. If she has enough gold for it, she may just need a little bit more gold. I don't know if our spectator can pull up gold in hand to see just how much more is needed here. Needs about 500 more gold in order to complete that Hidden Blade, which if she's able to complete that, that's going to be a huge power spike and going to make it really dangerous for these carries on West Coast.
Well, this will provide the gold she needs as this Primal Fury goes down. That will result in a little bit of gold going over to them. And yep, you'll see her back and pick up that Hidden Blade right now. So that comes online. Everybody at level 20 minus the supports. You do see the Frostbound Hammer picked up over here for the Osiris, going to result in a slow coming out. That will make him much more deadly. Oh, wow. Fight coming out underneath this tier 1 tower here. Khepri ult immediately used on himself. Doesn't even get procced. He's going to go in for it. As soon as the ult drops away, very well done. The Tsukiyomi will get the kill that he needs. Will die for his efforts. But another kill is exchanged in response. So a 2-for-1 trade so far. Now this Hu Yi running for his life going to go down underneath the tier 1 tower. The Suns and the Discordia going to confirm the kill onto the Nike. So it's a 3-for-2 trade so far. The Osiris now trying to bully and force back this poor retreating Morrigan and Geb here to get some space, though the stun is good. Osiris dies, just the Discordia remaining here for Best Coast. 3 players alive for Legionary Cohort. They definitely have the tier 1 tower, definitely have this Phoenix. I don't know if they can end here. Is this end?
They have 15 seconds and they do have their carries up and ready. They have the tank. They have 10 seconds here on this objective, which Chernobog and Morgan, if they're able to just kind of swing on this objective, that's going to be.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Time.
It's going to end. Yeah, Titan at 10% health, down to even lower. They get a kill to boot. The stun is good, but the Titan will fall. I didn't think they had enough power online to end. I was wrong. Legionary Cohort with 2 late game team fights bring it back from the brink of pretty much disaster and managed to take game 1 over Best Coast.
Yeah, Legionary Cohort down 9 kills, but up in gold and up in this set so far, taking the game 1 victory away from Best Coast. Really good engagement there on that tier 2 tower in mid. Khepri getting seemed like a little bit overzealous with that initial pluck. As soon as he plucked, I think he realized, oh, I am in a terrible position, and canceled it early and tried to run away. But good job for the Tsukiyomi to get the ult off and end up taking out that Khepri and when Tsukiyomi's in the back line, a lot of the team turned around to try to focus him and get him killed, and that's when the rest of Legionary Cohort pounced and jumped on the situation. Osiris left running around and taking a famous meme from Dexter. He's running around, and Morgan comes up and says "surprise," and you know the other part. But able to secure the victory here is Legionary Cohort. Really exciting game number 1 coming out from them.
Yeah, very well played. I'm fangirling a little bit over the timing of the ult coming out from Pittsburgh. Adam there manages to connect on the Khepri the millisecond that the self ult falls away there. Very well done. Coming out with the win there. Last second team fight going very well for Legionary Cohort. That was a blast to watch. Props to both teams involved. It was close. We had fun watching it, and we're excited to see how the rest of this set goes. We're going to throw this one back over to the desk. They're going to break it down, and we'll see you guys before too long for game 2.
Thank you so much, Norwal and Voices, for that amazing cast. And Norwal, that was kind of a crazy game, right? Like a lot of fighting in the early game, then Best Coast got like the leading of the kills, and in the end, Legionary Cohort takes the game.
Yeah, definitely no nerves for either of these teams in this game, or at least they're not showing it. Lots of aggression, a lot of back and forth kills, and fortunately for Legionary Cohort, and unfortunately for Best Coast, it does end up going the way for Legionary. But wonderful game back and forth. Definitely some rough points for them, but they got to late game, and when you have Geb, Morgan, the picks that they had late game, it's pretty easy at times to kind of get those last 1 or 2 picks, 1 or 2 team fight wins to be able to get you that W.
Yeah, and as they were joking about that Kepri and Chernobyl bit kind of like following that was really funny. But more than you mentioned that, what would you think that definitely was the best or the reason why Legionary Cohort end up taking the game?
I think the biggest part of that last fight was just not to say ADC diff, as if there's anything that Holtz did there, anything better or worse than SM Specify. I mean specificity. I believe that's how I say it. I don't have it in front of me to specify. Went 11-4, but just a lot that he was just trying to do. Tsukiyomi would go in, get a cleanup kill, and Pele would counter dive. So really didn't give him a whole lot of area to try to work. So he's just trying to leap in and aggressive, and ends up getting himself traded out. So, and again, that's nothing against him. He went 11-4, had a great game himself, definitely leading his team there and damage kills, a lot of the categories where he needed to be, but just late game, not enough to be able to deal with this. Yeah, but you saw there at the end, Titan, that Titan was beating on him for a good 10 seconds. Didn't die, shielded himself a couple times, still CC him to make sure that his backline can live. So definitely, if I'm looking anywhere, I think I'm going to have to look at changing up these support picks, whether that's taking away the Geb, just banning it out completely, but this Geb had a big impact in those couple of fights where it mattered.
Well, yeah, and I'm really excited because this is the first game of the playoffs we got here, and it actually was a really good set, really contested, and I can't wait to see more. But we're going to a quick break now, and we'll be back for the next game. Welcome back, everybody, to the Albion Giants Smite League. I'm here, Snake, joined by Batu. And we just had a really crazy game one, and this is just the start. So I'm really, really excited for this game two. And, you know, after seeing what happened in game one, what do you think that Best Coast needs to adapt to maybe take this game? Because this is a best of three set. So this could be the last game for them.
Yeah, definitely wanting to try to set it this game three. And I think they got a good start taking that first pick, which they can kind of dictate. Okay, is there one pick that we want? Is there one pick that we need to take away? Because there were some good picks on both sides, some good back and forth. But personally, I'm going to be very interested to see what specifically happens. Little pun there for the ADC there for Best Coast, but see what specifically happens to this Geb. Is it going to get banned? Is they going to let it back for a Legionary cohort again, or they going to pick it themselves? So that's kind of where I'm looking. Odin, though, starting off pretty standard. You don't need to really worry about in that first pick until you're at that last one. You can ban the stuff and really in that last pick kind of figure out, okay, is there enough open where we have to ban something? Is there not enough? You know, where you're at. So I'm liking it so far for Best Coast, and I think they're after game one, they played it really solid. So I'm really hoping they get a bounce back, and I think they.
Yeah, and now from the bans, the gap, as you said, it gets taken away, but also the Odin and the Ario. So really, solo lane center first phase of bans, and now also the Morrigan gets banned. Do you think that what we saw on game one was worth the Morrigan to ban now?
I don't hate it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad ban. I don't think they necessarily had to ban the Morgan this game, but they definitely understand that, okay, we're not really dealing with this Morgan really well, whether it's confusing comms and making it more difficult, or if it's just something where, oh, I thought that was already the alt. Wait, was that Morgan alt? Was that, which alt was it? Because that can also be a lot of the time where, wait, was that Tsukiyomi alt, or was that Morgan as Tsukiyomi alt? Or was that this alt? Or in a lot of times, if you don't have the word vision, see the detransformation, stuff like that, it can be really difficult to kind of decipher. Wait, I thought you said alts or not. And a lot of times, it was a good pick. It did some good impact late game. Just go ahead and ban it away. Make them change up this mid pick. And if you do get to a game three, maybe you let it through. Maybe they don't go back to it, and then you don't have to worry moving forward. So interesting to see them ban it. But again, it can be a variety of reasons why that pick goes away. But Uller, last ban here with the Tiamat. Nothing super crazy, but looks like we might get one of the gods banned in game one picked here in game two.
Yeah, I got we haven't had the opportunity to see in game one now gets immediately locked in. And it really looks like Best Coast is really valuable in this Cthulhu. I mean, Legionary Cohort, if I'm not mistaken, banned that Cthulhu really early last game. So maybe there's something on there on Best Coast. Maybe it's a really, really good comfort pick for them.
Definitely something going on there. Legionary Co. I believe they banned it second in that first game when they were in that first pick slot, and now Best Coast are opting to first pick it, leaving open a lot of the stuff from the first game that they could have run back or something that they might have wanted to take away. So very interesting to see, but that does kind of set some good precedent for this Cthulhu. I mean, the game's on the line, you're picking it. We better have some good impact you're seeing from it, which can be difficult, but also can be pretty easy with Cthulhu. You blink, you alt, you get some impact. But on the other side, this Merlin pickup that I like to see, but can very easily be kind of pushed out, especially drafted in the first two of the phase. And then Achilles, he's got his impact. I think it's no wonder what kind of a character Achilles brings and where he can play.
I mean, Achilles is one of the most aggressive warriors in my mind, but because of that, I think we've seen him more in the jungle than in the solo lane, which can be the case, and give that also that flexibility on the first phase of picks. And now we're seeing a Sobek and a Raijin. I think that Raijin is really good if they end up locking him up, because I guess one of the best mid laners right now, if not, the best for me. And the Sobek, a support we don't see really that much. I think he's not really that good in team fights because you can just plug one of the members, but because of that he can bring a bit of lane pressure.
Yeah, and I think Sobek is just kind of the master of note, the jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. He's got some good setup. He's got some decent peel. He's got some decent, disrupt and zoning and all this stuff where he can kind of do a little bit of everything, but he's not really the best at everything because, sure, your pluck's one of the best engages in the game, but they beads it in the late game, you just kind of die. You have your anti-heal in your kit, which is nice, but doesn't last anything crazy long. Your ultimate got some good damage to CC, but, it takes a while to go. So, like I said, very strong support. I'm right there with you. I think Raiden's really strong. I do like in the Merlin matchup just because you can kind of dictate these fights. Your leap's going to be a little bit better in most scenarios than this dash, especially with that CC immunity where you can fear or taunt him away, kind of give yourself a little bit of space here. And especially with this Achilles that takes a little bit of time to get off that damage. You can get some good interrupt. You can return a lot of damage back. And interesting to see this Khepri picked up. They do have the Achilles, so already you kind of got that counter unless Best Coast goes for like an Ao Kuang or a Thanatos, which not sure if we'll see the Ao Kuang specifically just because you've already got 3 Mad here, but they're definitely valuing this Khepri still in this game. Both of these teams, Best Coast had a game 1, now Legionary Cohorts grab a game 2 as bans. All there's I'm seeing here are jungle bans.
Yeah. I think, Kamatas and Ravan are maybe kind of like good bans in the mean that, dive compositions can be really tough with both of them, especially Kamatas, which also has a lot of sustain. But the Thanatos, really weird to see that because they also have the Kepri already, so why ban the Thanatos? Like, I can get the Hombats, but the Thanatos is a really question mark for me.
Might be something with them maybe being flipped, so I'm right there with you. Or maybe it's just a strong pick. Thanatos, really good early game that it's still an execute, so it's just something that might be difficult to do with the other side. I mean, Raijin, you're pretty much in place for that Thanatos. Cthulhu, 1, maybe 2 executes until they're in. I like playing Thanatos, so maybe I'm a little bit biased in that, but regardless of those picks, 4 Assassins gone, Legionary Cohorts, they're going to wait on theirs. Best Coast, we'll see what they end up picking, but they're hovering this Hachiman here. Good team fight alt and that just kind of that mobility. It's a good disengage specifically from this Cthulhu, who I think is one of the harder guardians to get away from because you need very specific qualities to get away. You need to be able to get really, really far, like halfway across the map far to disengage, or you need to be able to just stop him from chasing, which outside of like walls, outside of just some raw DPS, it's really difficult to do that as they do lock it in, but right now, Legionary Cohorts, they got a very strong pick comp. Merlin bursts somebody down. Khepri is going to make sure nobody can get picked off, and this Achilles is going to clean up. That's kind of the comp I'm seeing from Cohort right now.
Yeah, and Cohort last game, they did like this kind of like really heavy dive composition. But now with this Hachiman, I don't really see that now because Hachiman is one of the safest hunters in the dueling, and along with this Khepri, I think this is a really like maybe like safe dueling in regard that you can really be not that fear of the ganks. And now a band that also got banned in, I mean, a god that also got banned in the game 1 was Chiron, and now Best Coast said, we'll take it.
Yeah, and Chiron, strong ability hunter there. A little bit of something here. It's got locked in twice. Now I'm confused who got it. But to just talk about Chiron, very strong ability hunter, and I'm surprised we haven't seen him more with just some of the maces. He likes that bursty build, maybe 1 or 2 attack speed. Okay, there we go. All right, I was gonna say Nemesis locked in last, kind of like that into the Cthulhu. But anyways, good strong ability. But the one that I'm kind of interested in, this jungle matchup, they let the Nemesis through, which is one of the best counters for Cthulhu, doing the percent HP of a target as well as just that prots and power, all that stuff that you can just take away, and that basically negates the fact of Cthulhu getting all that bonus in his Descent into Madness. And then on the other side, Awelix. None of these characters on Legionary Cohort have any sort of leaps. There's no Yamoja for a team knockup. So unless Sobek plucks somebody, Cthulhu knocks somebody up in that Descent into Madness, or Awelix does it herself, there's not a whole lot of knockups set up for this. So this Awelix is really going to have to work on with this front line and specifically hitting that knock up themselves. Because outside of that, there's really no value outside of a steroid. And against the Nemesis, even with that steroid, that's all getting taken away with that ult. So I'm really having a hard time seeing this. I'm really gonna hopefully have to see this Awilix win me over here, because looking at these drafts, I think Legionary Cohorts have the draft to make this a 2-0.
Yeah, as you said, the Nemesis is really good counter pick to that Cthulhu, and also with that it means that Achilles is going to the solo lane, which maybe will have a rough time against the Cthulhu, but also I think that the jungle matchup here is going to be really what's going to dictate the game in the end. But
100%.
let's wait no more and see what's going to be if Legionary Cohort take the set, or we come to game 3. So Narwhal and Voiceless, take it away.
Thank you very much, King Batu and Snaked. This is the Voiceless One back here with Narwallaby for Game 2 in this set between Best Coast and Legionary Cohort. We had a blast with Game 1. It was close. It was fun. Now I'm super excited to see how everything shakes out here in Game 2. What are you hoping to see, Narwhal?
Well, Batu said he was excited about Legionary Cohort's draft, and they got some good points on it. But I'm looking at Best Coast draft over here, and when you have a Cthulhu, Sobek, Awilish, Raijin, Chiron, I think a lot of those picks are really strong. Raijin's just such a strong mid laner now. He's not the strongest, because clearly the other strongest ones, the Tiamat getting banned away, they're definitely the one that you don't want to see. But I'm looking at Best Coast here to try to see if they're going to be able to bounce back after that unfortunate Game 1 defeat for them.
Yeah, I like a lot of the individual picks here for Legionary Cohort. But as a coordinated unit, I'm terrified of what Best Coast can do. There is so much just blow up potential. CC chain into 100 to 0 combo, you're dead now, son. Coming out here from Best Coast, that it means positioning is going to have to be very good. Ooh, unless you whiff like that. Unfortunate for the Sobek in over in Duo
Does
lane.
not bode well for the start.
No, it's just not. Let's just forget I said anything. No, but I still do feel that way. I think unless positioning and team play is very good for Legionary Cohort here, they will find themselves just eaten alive by this coordination comp from Best Coast.
Yeah, the Sobek Awilish combo was one that we've seen kind of rear its head. I believe Eager in the olden days of SPL was one of the main ones that like to run that with the DJ Pernicus and Aurora, as Awilish already trying to fight into Legionary Cohort, into this Nemesis and Merlin here in the mid lane. But as I was saying, the Sobek Awilish is just such displacement for the team. You can pull a person, halfway down the lane with a pluck and a Wheelish ult, and it just creates such a difficult time for enemies to join up, as Chiron securing first blood there as I'm talking.
Well done to the Chiron, getting exactly what he was looking for over in the duo lane. A little bit of help from his support in that Sobek. Early first blood bounty going over to Best Coast. Just important for the viewers, in case you haven't already figured that out. We have swapped sides here from our first game. Best Coast, after losing Game 1, opted to take first pick in the draft, which means they are our Blue Order team. Legionary Cohort have become the Red Chaos team. That can confuse people sometimes, so just keep that in mind as we go here through Game 2.
Yeah, looking like Best Coast was thinking about invading that purple, maybe thinking a little bit better of it. There is Merlin was also over on this red buff, as he took quite a decent chunk of damage off of that.
Scared me there. I was like, are you going to die to a camp, Merlin?
Merlin maybe forgetting that red buff does a surprising amount of damage, especially this early in the game, and to squishy mid laners. We'll see if Raijin fares any better against his PvE experience here. Is looking like he's not going to take nearly as much damage, but this does tick Raijin able to stay in lane a little bit longer, so hopefully he's going to be able to get a little bit more of a power spike coming out here for himself. But again, this dual lane, you can see a lot of the pressure this Chiron Sobek have over here.
Yeah, the pluck is good. Lots of damage poured out onto that Khepri. He'll be forced back underneath that tier 1 tower. Pretty beaten up. I might have to pop a pot or two, maybe even head back to base if he's out of pots, things like that. May be interesting to see how that goes. Ooh, another attempted pluck, not quite going to connect. Ooh, but the invade is good. The gank comes through, damage being poured down. The underneath tier 1 tower, the Hachiman will make it out to safety. Khepri will as well, but on with just a sliver of health. Same with the Chiron. And now actually the chase is on. Legionary Cohort looking to punish this Chiron for going so low. There is another player here looking to provide some backup, and you've been jebaited, son. That's a dead Khepri. Yeah, that's oh, but over in the duo lane, a solo kill for this this Achilles will even things up in terms of immediate kill fights back and forth here. Tomahawk Warrior getting exactly what he was looking for over in the solo lane, but over in the duo lane, that bait working masterfully as the jungler in reactive is going to get what he was looking for against the Khepri.
Yeah, a Tomahawk Warrior here on this Achilles. Achilles does have a pretty good matchup into Cthulhu because Cthulhu does have a touch of health. As we'll just wait and see if Sobek is going to be able to get out of this.
Oh no, the damage is good. The Merlin rotated over just in time, and that is going to be a dead support over in terms of Best Coast. So now evened up, 2-2 kills on either side, gold identical. We can just wipe the last 4 minutes off the game. We'll just pretend we started here.
Yep, so starting here at this point, both teams looking, pretty even for the most part. Achilles has got a slight level lead over in that solo lane off of that solo kill. But, as I was talking and got rudely interrupted by the Legionary Cohort picking up a kill, Achilles does have a pretty solid matchup into Cthulhu. Cthulhu channeled ability that's able to be stunned out by the Achilles, and Cthulhu, one of the gods that no matter how much health he has, he can still be executed once he gets below that threshold there. And especially when he's up in that ultimate, he's a pretty big target, pretty hard to miss with Achilles ultimates. So if Tomahawk Warrior, if Cthulhu is in ultimate and Tomahawk Warrior's nearby and he gets low enough, it should be a pretty free execute. If he does miss, I will call him out on it, so hopefully he doesn't miss, so I can do that.
Yeah, Cthulhu's kind of interesting that way. You kind of get two reactions to him using his ultimate, which is like people kind of just run away. Like you feel like he's either invincible and you need to run, or everyone focuses him. And I feel like there's no in between, Like he's either the center of attention and everyone's doing damage to him, or everyone's just ignores him and starts running away because he feels unbeatable when he's so tall like that.
Yep, exactly. But looking here at some of the builds coming out, is looks like Tomahawk might be getting ganked here by the Sobek, who already made the rotation over.
Good pluck coming out here, and the ultimate comes through. That's a lot of damage coming through. That will almost certainly result in a... Are you kidding me? Uses the execute to get away. I've seen that maneuver before. Haven't seen it work to that extent. Oh! With the very last bit of damage, the kill will come through thanks to Flower on the Sobek. Well played coming out from him. And that results in a kill over in the duo lane, going to even things out between those two. Or sorry, the solo lane, going to even things out between those two solo laners. They'll use that advantage to take the totem and this fort over here.
Yeah, the classic double guardian gank over in the solo lane.
Classic.
Definitely one of the more painful deaths that you can experience over there in solo lane. It's just a slow grind as both of these low damage guardians just start beating on you. But Tomahawk Warrior almost being able to get out, but Soba Cthulhu just barely enough damage to secure the kill for themselves here. And while I was at it, I wanted to talk a little bit about the change up here in the duo lane. Chiron going this Bumba's dagger. Last game we saw both of these ADCs with that leather cowl, but this time around, Chiron picking up Bumba's dagger. A little bit of you would think it would not be that meta, but it is a pretty meta build now for a lot of these ability hunters, especially once they're able to pick up that Bumba Spear and just have full percent damage, heal off jungle camps, get percent damage, percent power, on everything. So looking to hurry up and power farm up to that level 20 so they can get that item online.
Yeah, everything in Smite is cyclic. So, we started Season 8 with ability damage heavy hunters, and then boots fall away. We go into the bow build meta, And attack speed hunters are the rage, and now we've come full circle all
Don't
the way
forget the
back.
absolutely miserable crit meta that we were in there for the longest time.
That's true. Forgot about that as well. So yeah, it's just it'll always come back to one of those three things. So
Yeah. No matter what happens, ADCs end up ruining everything for the entirety of Smite. So, I mean, good on them for getting the kills. As we have an engagement coming out here mid lane.
big pluck coming out here onto this Kepri. He's very tanky, but the grab is good. Going to be yanked back in. He's at just a little bit of health. Is there enough damage to secure it? Uses the ult on himself. That will make sure he gets out alive. Ultimate's burned over from Best Coast trying to get that kill, though, so I don't know who really comes ahead in terms of net worth there. I guess Legionary Cohort uses less ults surviving than Best Coast do trying to get the kill, so maybe a win for Legionary there.
Yeah, good job by Badger there, holding on to the ultimate there as long as possible and making sure he has it up. But Legionary Cohort looking to pull this Gold Fury here. They have the Merlin burn, they have a lot of damage, so and it doesn't look like anyone from Best Coast is going to be able to get close as Tomahawk Warrior getting another solo kill onto this Cthulhu, again using the ultimates to secure the kill for himself. Unfortunate
there for the Cthulhu falling further behind over in the solo lane, and yeah, just Legionary Cohort knowing map rotations, having the vision, and maybe Best Coast not having the vision. Ooh, counter kill. The gank is good as the Awelish comes over to punish Tomahawk Warrior for stepping up too far and threatening his solo laner. But yeah, maybe just wards not in place there. Best Coast not
Merlin
able
needs to be careful here.
Really punish that Gold Fury take, but they are able to punish this movement in the mid lane as they invade underneath the tier 1 tower and do get the kill they were looking for. Up by 2 kills and about 1,000 gold now over Legionary Cohort. Best Coast looking a little stronger right now, maybe than they did at the same time in Game 1. They did hold the lead for much of Game 1 until the very end there, but I did feel like it was very close the whole time. So will this translate into anything more as the game goes on? They are going to take Pyromancer here to get that gold lead even further ahead. Fire Giant has come online, though we may not see that get taken for quite some time.
Yeah, if we see a 10-minute Fire Giant, that would be very impressive. But instead, Best Coast is just gonna do the smart thing and go back to farming. I will say Best Coast has done a really good job of answering a lot of these kills. You know, every little bit of pressure that Tomahawk Warrior is able to give over in solo lane is quickly answered out as Hachiman.
The solo kill is good, just outplayed.
I don't know what
there,
that was.
Unfortunate. Gets what he's looking for. Chiron gets all the damage off, will get a kill, does not know there's a jungler right behind him though. Kill may be answered back here as this is where junglers thrive, pushing into those squishy damage carries. The ult comes out for this Nemesis, trying to find what he's looking for, but it's actually the jungler who's in trouble. Both of them very low, using the 3, trying to close the distance. Underneath the tower, going to dodge out the 1 from Chiron. Not quite going to get what he's looking for, and now the shield is good. The Chiron goes down underneath the tower, too greedy, trying to get what he was looking for. Elsewhere, off screen, over in the duo lane, Reactive's going to find a kill onto the Merlin for Legionary Cohort. Now trying to find another kill onto this very low health Kepri. They will get it. Taking the totem, unbeknownst to everybody, Warrior. His totem matters, okay? It doesn't matter if your support dies. We need to get the totem.
I'm looking here at Twitch chat, and his team was clearly already on him about not getting Totem of Coup buffs earlier in the game. So he's like, you know what? I'm making sure I get this totem. It cost him his life, so I'm not really sure how worth it that experience ends up being. But a lot of action coming out as the fighting is still continuing.
Still continuing, exactly. Over here, once again, over near the right side. That's going to be a dead Awelish as Pittsburgh Adam going to pick up the kill he was looking for. Does the dash come off cooldown in time to get him away safely? The pick could come through any second now. The Kepri ult will confirm that he makes it at least away for the time being. Tick damage, not quite going to find enough, and on a sliver of health, Pittsburgh Adam will make it back to base, living for his crimes. And now everybody going to reset just a little bit, although maybe looking to get even more aggressive. This Merlin and Kepri pushing up mid lane. Don't think they're actually looking for any kills, just trying to push that wave up a little further.
Yeah, definitely long extended fights across the map. You know, we started that engagement over there in the duo lane with Hachiman falling to Chiron. Chiron then pushing the tier 1 tower. Nemesis coming over, ulting to Chiron. Chiron, you know, turning it around and fighting into it. Chiron not able to land any auto attacks, which unfortunately led to his death at the hands of the Nemesis. And then we immediately go over into solo lane, where the rest of the teams are just fighting over there. Look to be potentially fighting over like a blue buff or maybe over some wards over there. Not really sure what set off that engagement, but lot of fighting regardless. If there was any question about how these teams feel coming into these playoff games, I think we're getting a lot of the answers now. A lot of the so-called nerves, they're just kind of throwing them out the window and just taking a lot of these fights and engagements willy-nilly.
You can see at the bottom of the screen there, XP and Gold favoring Best Coast, starting to come out more and more ahead. They have managed to get a sizable lead, but Legionary Cohort in the last game, despite the kill differential, were able to keep things very close and competitive for the entire game until the moment was right for them to bring it back. So not out of the realm of possibility for them to bring things back here. May see them do that in game 2 here. Gank possibly going to go badly for Best Coast there as the Wheelish gets trapped. Going to use abilities to get himself out safely. Now the stun onto Cthulhu, but he is tanky. He should be just fine unless he gets plucked, grabbed, stunned. Ooh, knockup is good from the Sobek, and actually yoinked back in is the Khepri. He's going to die. Very well played from the Wheelish, getting the kill off there. Legionary Cohort punished for going quite so deep, and now Best Coast picks up another kill for themselves, looking to go even further. Red Camp is taken by Legionary Cohort, but now they want even more. The damage comes down from the Merlin, and that's going to be another kill going over the way of Best Coast. Stuck around too long. Over here, underneath Tier 1 tower, though, that's a dead Chiron. He got the tower, but he paid for it with his life. And now a couple players from Legionary Cohort are very low and not long for this world. Oh, the dash
stun
is good. The stun is great. Oh, but the lockdown route is there as well. Not going to get away with it. That's going to be a very dead Hachiman. But I do think... Oh no, Nemesis hasn't gotten away yet. I wasn't sure if he was still being chased. Lifesteal is good, but 2 versus 1 not going to favor her. Oh no, the dash is good, but the leap coming through from the Sobek is better. Finally confirms the kill after about... I felt like that was a 3 or 4 minute chase. Finally, everybody from Legionary Cohort will be punished for their hubris. Just the remaining Khepri here trying to stop or steal this Fury steal. They're actually going to yoink him in. Very low health are a couple members from Best Coast here. I'm not sure they want to be taking this fight. They'll chase the Khepri away. They did manage to get away with it. They'll pick up this Fury and get away with their lives. Nobody probably going to be able to steal from Legionary Cohort.
Yeah, good job there coming out from Best Coast with the correct split-ups on the map is continuing the engagement after the fact. Constant fighting. This is not Conquest anymore. Apparently we're hosting playoffs on Arena only, as teams just keep fighting constantly here in this set. But a good recognition from Best Coast, doing the correct split up, sending 2 people to deal with the Hachiman, and then while the other 2 go chase down the Nemesis as Nemesis was running away. But Best Coast able to secure that Gold Fury for themselves, as Legionary again trying to answer it out with this Pyromancer again. But we're still looking at about a 3K, 3.5K gold lead coming out from Best Coast. So in a little bit of similar spot as they were in game number 1, but I think this time around they have a much better draft in order to push this slight lead better than what they did in game 1. So if I'm Best Coast, I'm looking to try to do that and really kind of try to rely on this Sobek Wheelish.
Uh-oh, more invade here as the Raijin has been punished for coming forward. Going to use the Taiko drums, trying to find something. Gets a lot of damage onto a couple members of Legionary Cohort. That's going to be a very dead Hachiman. Merlin is also quite low, going to have to back away, as it's actually the jungler providing peel for the mid laner. Gonna get chunked down. The shield comes up, looking to be punished right now. The knockup is good from the Sobek onto Pittsburgh Adams. He's gonna manage to get away for the time being. Execute potentially coming out here. That's 2 members dead now for Legionary Cohort. They lose 2 in the middle. Only Flower going down in response. And now, uh-oh, they know he's there. Very low health is still Pittsburgh Adams. Going to try and chase and get what they're looking for. The shield is good. Lots of damage trying to come through. Tick damage maybe there. No, the Khepri is good. Gets the revive off. Lots of damage coming through here underneath this Tier 1 tower. Tier 1 tower starting to chunk down the Cthulhu that has come out underneath. The kill actually goes onto the Khepri before they manage to get anything off onto the Nemesis. Nemesis does get away with her life. And now 4 players still remaining alive here for Best Coast. They'll probably take both of these towers in mid lane before heading elsewhere.
Yeah, Best Coast again looking to secure this Tier 2. They just picked up the Tier 1 there for themselves. But again, really good engagement and good managing of abilities as they end up backing off from this Tier 2 after getting it down to about half HP there on the structure. But thinking better of that engagement with 3 of them with fairly low health bars coming into that. But again, they took that fight and it's helping to extend their lead. I believe they're looking at close to a 5K lead lead sitting here at this point. So they're doing the little things correct to extend themselves further and further ahead of Legionary Cohort. And like I said, a lot of it is off the back of this Awilish. I want to say she's sitting at 8 kills, 8-1 and something, I believe, at this point. So really throwing her influence across the map, making her presence known, and helping to carry her team to victory here.
Playing very well. You could, yeah, 7, 1, and 5 ends up being the slash line for the Awilish playing for Best Coast there. Very, very well done coming out from her. And interesting to see how this game has ended up playing out. Legionary Cohort falling further behind, I think, in this game than they did in Game 1. The game's starting to spiral away from them more than it did so the first time around. So will they be able to bring it back like they did in Game 1, or will this one go to Best Coast? We'll have to see. Ooh, Flicker is good. Going to try and avoid the pluck from the Sobek. He'll eventually abandon the chase as he's starting to get a little bit too deep. Don't want to get yourself killed. Tries to actually go for something against this Cthulhu. Won't quite get it. Will actually get locked down. Zoning ability usage is good there from the Chiron, going to make sure nobody can follow the Sobek all the way through. As now they're starting to contest a little bit over this buff camp. Not quite going to get the pluck that he was looking for. He'll actually be the one getting pulled in. This Kepri is getting slammed. Uses the lurking in the waters. Or sorry, Sobek uses the lurking in the waters to get himself out, but not going to work. He will go down to the execute from Tomahawk Warrior. Legionary Cohort doing a good job of punishing the invade coming out from Best Coast there.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about like where I think the lead for this Best Coast is coming from. You know, comparatively to game number 1. Game number 1, the duo lane for Legionary Cohort there, especially at Hortlitz, when he was on that Chernabog, was able to do quite a bit, and being Chernabog had quite a bit of influence that he was able to throw across the match, but he's not really able to get a lot of that pressure that he had in game 1 on this Hachiman here. Sitting at 0-4 and 3, hasn't really had that much of an impact on the games. His Kepri is sitting at 3 levels down currently to his opposing support. Just now picking up his second relic coming out here, which is going to be the Horrific Emblem. One of those relic choices that we don't necessarily see all the time. I maybe would have liked to see potentially a sprint or even a sunder coming out, so when Cthulhu goes up, or any of these double guardians, you can just sunder and get a bunch of damage off on them.
Yeah, the Horrific Emblem is a little bit odd to me, as actually, hang on, we see a fight breaking out in mid. I'm not sure I get to talk just yet. We're gonna have to see how this one goes. Actually,
we never get a chance to talk in this game.
No, we don't. That's okay. No, the Horrific Emblem is a little funny coming from me, because I don't necessarily I don't see anybody from Best Coast that I'm like, oh yes, their attack speed is so high, I gotta nerf that, right? They're just gonna chunk me down. Like, this Chiron is very obviously going for ability build. The crit damage is there from Awilish, so she doesn't necessarily need all the attacks in the world. Maybe it's for the Raijin a little bit. I'm just not sure. I feel like I guess I question why who on the Best Coast you feel the need to.
Best Coast stole it away.
They did steal it away. Very well played for them, and they get a kill to boot. Unfortunate there, as that's going to be a falling Achilles, as well as an exchange over onto the support for Best Coast. Damage flowing through here from the Raijin. He'll eventually pick up the kill onto the mid laner for Legionary Cohort. They're trying to find a punish. Unfortunately, they're going to lose their jungler first. Best Coast now with the transformed Cthulhu laying down all the damage in the area, getting everybody into the grayscale except for Pittsburgh Adam. He's barely going to make it away underneath his own tower.
Cthulhu,
yeah, I just
descending into madness there. Yeah.
This is descending into madness. He's big boy now. That's all I know about it. He's a big boy.
Yeah, Legionary Cohort, they definitely thought they had the opportunity to pull that Gold Fury, but not realizing that Best Coast was present in the area. And this is looking like a potential Phoenix here, as they do have a tank and 2 of their carries alive, and only the Achilles is going to be over here in order to contest this.
Yeah, there is just one here, but the burn on the Phoenix is slower than they'd probably like it to be. Down to about 5% health. They'll pick it up, yeah. Oh, but they'll lose Cthulhu for it. Is that worth it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's
pressure.
It's
Is that worth
100%
it?
worth it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, getting that left-hand Phoenix, you're not super worried about Legionary Cohort really picking up this Fire Giant immediately, and even if they do, they don't have to worry about the Fire Minions pushing down. As long as Best Coast is able to show some kind of presence over on that FG side, all they have to wait now is about 30 more seconds for this Cthulhu to respawn. Tomahawk Warrior did end up getting the shutdown, so he gets a little bit of extra gold coming out for that, but Best Coast able to get that left-hand Phoenix, which is, as everybody knows, or most people know in Smite, if you don't know, the left-hand Phoenix is typically the most important Phoenix, as it's the furthest away from the Fire Giant and the most difficult to defend when it comes to these Fire Giant dances. And this is putting Best Coast in a really solid situation, as Cthulhu is just now getting ready to respawn. He's going to be able to push up here and be ready for this fight as soon as it breaks out.
Yeah, they get the superior positioning for sure around Fire Giant. Ward coverage good. They even get the Pyromancer because they're there first. Tier 1 tower will fall. Legionary Cohort going to pick that up as they rotate their way over. This is the section of the game. Oh yes, Best Coast start pulling it immediately. This is where we see Fire Giant take maximum importance. Just after 20 minutes or so, they're going to start pulling it. I don't know if Legionary Cohort know about this. There is no ward coverage over here. The Fire Giant is very low. It's going to go down, and Legionary Cohort going to let it drop for free. Maybe just preoccupied with the camp, or not the camp, the Fire Minions pushing down left side. Not sure, but they do lose out on Fire Giant completely there. Best Coast going to pick it up uncontested. They're going to use that advantage to probably take down, at very least, these two towers remaining here, these two tier 2 towers. Probably Phoenixes as well.
Yeah, a little bit questionable there from Legionary Cohort. I'm really surprised they didn't mount any kind of defense, even having maybe just one or two people there to kind of keep vision on it. I guess they're just trying to get as much farm as they can and try to hit their level 20 so they can start getting these relic upgrades, as we do see the Bumba's Spear finally completed on to Pittsburgh Atom here on this Nemesis, as well as the Spear completed on that Chiron. So starter upgrades starting to come through from Best Coast. It looks like they're just hovering around this right-hand Phoenix, maybe trying to just buy some time, let some of those Fire Minions over in duo lane push up, but they are on Best Coast's side of the map, so it's going to take them a little bit before they're able to push down and put any kind of threat onto the Titan or Phoenix area.
Josh comes through looking for what he's going to try and find underneath the Phoenix here. Going to use Lurking Under the Waters to get the Sobek out safely. The Cthulhu takes his place as the frontliner, using Descent into Magnus to try and burn enemy players down, but it's actually him falling. One kill exchanged on either side as the fight breaks out. The Legion pouring damage out from the Taiko drums, going to get what he was looking for against the jungler Pittsburgh Atom. Now, the Phoenix Siege potentially going the way of Best Coast. They are down a tank, but they will be able to get an additional kill. Oh no, is this going to be it for us? Kills going the way of Best Coast. One more. Yep, that's going to be a dead Hachiman as well. Just the Merlin remaining. If they take down this Phoenix, it's gone. I think they have enough here to end the game.
This could be game. Their tank is not very healthy, so all they're going to have is their damage dealers, and a Merlin is going to be able to put out quite a bit of damage if they're not able to pick him off. But looks like he might be able to mount the defense. He's got two. Looking for a third Titan, just sitting here at a quarter health.
Holy cow, it's so close! Oh my goodness! 10% health! Is he going to be able to finish it off? Holy cow! Best Coast on a sliver of health on their final player remaining alive will finish off the Titan. That game on a knife's edge. I couldn't even speak because of how close it was. Right. Legionary Cohort just barely miss out on being able to defend their Titan there.
Yeah, Enclave there for Legionary Cohort, doing his best to try to defend that Titan, able to take out 3 of the members, but that 4th one still alive and had the very last bit of damage. Raijin Thunder crashing in to secure themselves the victory, and this is the point where it sends us into the game 3, and game 3s, well, that one may have been a quick one. Typically, game 3s tend to be the longer games, so we could be in for a long one here for this next one. But after game 1 and game 2, I'm excited to see what both of these teams look to pull out here.
Yeah, that was an incredible. First game was close. Second game was even closer when it came down to the finale. I am so excited to see how game 3 is going to play out. We're going to throw this one back over to the desk. They'll break this one down for us. We'll be here to cast game 3 for you as soon as you get back.
Thank you so much, Voiles and Norwal, for that amazing cast. And as they were mentioning, that was I mean, the close of the game was kind of crazy, but Best Coast was ahead and dominating the game most of it. So I'm really glad that they did that. But what do you think that was the way for them to win this game, Batu?
I talked about it with. I was a little bit hesitant on the Awilix with not a whole lot of setup and reactives there on the Awilix was really made me eat my words very quick. Going 8-3 there and doing a solid effort, not just around the ultimate because everybody thinks about that gravity surge ultimate. You pull somebody in with your ult, and that's kind of the big thing you do. But just around those team fights, getting some good damage, positioning well to get finish off some of these kills, force some people apart, just playing the jungle really well, and I'm probably biased as a jungler, but that was what really stuck out for me. This Awilix really helped them run the game and really pushed them to this game 3.
Yeah, the Willix or best to say the jungler of Best Coast this time was way more proactive in the early game, I will say. And I think that was really helpful for them because even though in game one, a lot of the fights that started in the early game, which translated in a lot of kills, that doesn't really made them have like a really, I mean, like a huge lead in the gold. But now with the, with how good things they did in the early game, especially in the jungle and the solo lane, that made them have like a way better lead in the goal and just dominate fairly most of the game. And also now I notice why they prioritize that Cthulhu ban because that was causing some troubles there.
Yeah, that Cthulhu having a huge impact. Definitely felt it rough in the lane. I think there was maybe one or two solo kills, and of course the cast was talking about had some good see with that double guardian gank, there. But definitely not the best lane. But that's not why you play Cthulhu. You play Cthulhu for the team fights to be able to spread them apart as far as the team members, going one way, going the other, get yourself a little bit of an advantage there, and they capitalized on it. And I think that was another big part on this Awilix being able to have such an impact is that rather than having to go in 1v4, 1v5, she was able to do the 2v2s, the 1v2s, the 2v1s, and kind of really with them the fights dissected as they were by this Cthulhu. So I'm expecting a Cthulhu ban here in game 3 is we see why it was banned in game 1 and in game 2.
I mean, maybe they were feeling more confidence after how game one went to not ban that Cthulhu, but I'm really sure that now in game three we're going to see that Cthulhu ban right away because I guess like the synergy with the jungle and the solo lane was so good, especially how the game started and then go on in the late game that they will not allow that to happen. At least that's what I do after this game. Like this game 3, I will not allow to the jungle and the solo lane be as predominant as they were on this game. But we have game 3, so really exciting for the first game of quarterfinals playoffs, and we're ready to go to the picks and bans for this game 3 deciding match. Really exciting. So how are you expecting the first phase of bans to be, Batu?
Well, I'm definitely expecting that Cthulhu to fall back in there, and I'm really gonna keep my eye on what that's gonna let. Yep, right off the bat, Legionary Cohort. First thing they were just like, yeah, no, that was awful. We're not gonna deal with that. Get it out. We were right in betting at game 1, and we'll move on to game 3. But I'm really looking to see what that allows back through in this game. Like I said, Awilix, Raijin, Chiron even had some good games around. So there were definitely some strong picks on both sides of not any stuff that maybe you ban, maybe you don't. So interesting to see where this kind of goes. And is we see that Morgan come back up? Is that what this ban kind of replaces? Banned away after that first game, maybe not had the most impact. If we see that pop back up here, but this is where it's all down to it. All the marbles here. This is game 3. Winner go, loser go home. Winner keeps going on to the semifinals, which isn't going to get any easier. You're going to have to play one of the top 2 teams who got a bye. So by no means is it anywhere in sight here, but this is what you play for. You play to win the game and to make the finals, of course. Nobody plays a game to lose, but surprisingly here, I'm going to eat my words here. Morgan as well as bans, so already a lot of spice from this set as with this game 3 bans are rolling out.
Yeah, and talking about the Morrigan, after how game one went, I would love to see Best Coast again in this heavy dive composition because even though that uh, they didn't have the lead on kills, that made us to have really good team fights in the late game when they struggled most in game two. But now we're seeing a Gip ban, which was a pick that Legionary Cohort had in the game one. So I think they're still worried about that. And I was about to mention that they let Tiamat free. So first pick, no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't hate this team up pick, but also in my mind, that Uller that we saw at Band 1, and I think we also saw it in Game 2 as well. Maybe we see that picked up here. That Achilles that's run really well. This Raijin, I think, is still a good matchup into Tiamat. Maybe not after 25, 30 minutes. Maybe Tiamat wins that a little bit more, but by no means is anyone talking about Raijin late game being weak. So there's still a lot of picks here on both sides. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, but Best Coast, I'm not gonna say I hate it. Game two, I really eat my words, so I'm not gonna go for a second helping of saying some things. But they're looking towards this Awelix, and after game two, I can't say I hate it, especially with Tiamat having I don't know if one of her transforms is technically a dash or a leap, but one leap, another potential movement ability, some weird positioning she might have to do to try to leap away in mobility. So I kind of like this Awelix pick here a little bit more already.
Yeah, and also that other pick because that was also banned both games. So now it's free and they pick it up just as easy as that. And I think this is maybe because most of the bans here are more centered in how both games went. You see that Morrigan, that Geb, that Cthulhu band. So they're more worried about like what the teams are comfortable with. And I can't blame them, because if you have this comfort pick that you go well every time you play it, you gotta ban that from the other team.
Yeah, 100%. And that's just the beauty of these 3 game sets. And in a couple weeks, when we get to the finals, there'll be 5 games, so we can see a lot more of this shifting as well. But just look at the picks here. Legionary cohorts are. I like their draft even more because you understand this will be a strong pick, but let's not just it was strong even when we didn't. Let's just start grabbing leaps here and just go give her more tools. Playing smart around it. They got this Terra with that knock-up immunity, just period. Really going to make this Awelix very difficult, as well as the mobility Terra has is very good lockdown, not just against the Awelix, but also for yourself to kind of self-peel, whether that, what that revolves around. And then this Chiron did really good in that first game. I think had some moments where the position just wasn't quite there, but bringing that out. So some strong picks here, but on the other side, Best Coast, Uller, Raijin, Awelix. If I'm thinking of 3 damage characters in a game, and you list these off, that's so much damage and pressure. This is a scary top 3 here for Best Coast going in this final.
Yeah, really scary. And they is still banning things from past games because now Knight got banned and Kepri got banned. Both of those gods, we saw them on game one. Kepri, we also saw him in the last game. So I guess now that this is like the decider game, they're just banning the strategies that the teams used before. So because none of these picks are really meta or like that strong to consider a ban, because as we saw, Tiamat was free, they pick it. Other was free, they pick it. So what do you think about these target bans?
I mean, that's one thing about this 3 game set is it's really about your own mental here, because like there's even with the 5 bans each side, there's so many gods that are good, excellent plays to where you're never going to be able to ban out everything there. But at the end of the day, if it worked against you once, it's probably going to be able to work against you again. So ban what you don't want to see. They really got that Sobek again. One of those kind of all around ones. His plucks were really putting out of position. Missed a couple, but that's the double-edged sword you play when you play Sobek. But gave so much impact there. Just get out of there, make it play something else. Go deeper in that god pool. Throw another factor in there because maybe they have to go to a god they hadn't practiced for, weren't ready for. Maybe they only had 1 or 2 gods that they wanted to play, and now they're going 3, 4, 5 deep in. with this Kakao picking, kind of going back to basics as far as, lanes and God picks, but aggression still from this whole lineup, and with Xingchen and Ravana, Xingchen a lot more of a safer front line with that HP 5 passive, of course, that he has. Although, Tyr getting hovered,
Wow.
locked in, Tyr, Ravana, Legionary Cohorts were thinking about maybe a little more safe front line, and then they just threw it out the window and said, nah, we'll throw down with you. We're going to go just as aggressive as you are. And seeing this draft, even with this last pick still getting hovered, that is a lot of early pressure on both sides. This is definitely not going to be any slower than the first 2 games were of those arena kill counts.
No, I saw that Pixper Adam was joking in the
Ooh.
comments about being an arena, but now with the Tyr and the Ravan, I'm seeing that's what I wanted to do, because Legionary Cohort won game 1 just by pure hard dive composition, and that made us win late in the late game, even when they didn't have the lead on the kills. But Best Coast also has like a really aggressive composition, and especially now with this Kukulan and now this Bacchus. We haven't seen that much of Bacchus, but it's personally is one of the best supports for me. I really have fun every time I play him. So I'm really excited to see this game 3. That also, as you said, seeing both drafts, this is not going to be as a quick one.
No, if it is, it's going to be a very lopsided, quick 20-minute one. But, I mean, look at these picks. There's not one of these picks can't solo somebody else. Terra with her ult, Bacchus with his ult. Like, every one of these characters have so much damage that they can throw in there. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know who to pick. These are such strong drafts, and this is going to be a wild game 3. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm really excited as you. And just let's wait no more. This is a decider match, and with both exciting drafts, so let's just go watch it. So Voiceless and Narwhal, take it away.
Thank you so much, King Batu and Snaked. Here we are. This is the Albion Giants League playoffs. Legionary Cohort versus Best Coast, Game 3. After 2 knockout games, 1 and 2. We are the Voiceless one. I'm joined by Narwhal, and we're excited to see how this one is going to play out for our Game 3. I like both of these drafts very much.
So excited, so excited. This is what we live for. This is we had a great 3-game set last night. If you didn't get to catch it, you go check out that VOD either here on Twitch or over on YouTube. But another 3-game set here for us tonight. So some real exciting gameplay as these teams are too excited to get into it. Terra had to DC in order to make us wait just a little bit longer here, but that gives us a little bit of time to talk about these drafts. A little bit of the desk broke it down a little bit for us, but I really like what Legionary Cohort has picked up for themselves. I mean, anytime you get a Tiamat in the game, I think you're just automatically favored to win just because of how powerful this god has been since release. Pretty impressive, solid mid laner. Takes a little bit of time to get online, but man, once you hit this late game, it's just such an insane pick. So many buttons to press, more buttons than anybody else in the game. So always exciting when you get to see this god finally get picked up.
Yeah, it's honestly the tankiness coming out from both compositions is really intense. But like, what I take away from both compositions is tankiness and dive. I feel like we're watching 2 trains barreling toward each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be awesome to watch.
Yeah, and for all it's worth, Bacchus, one of these picks that we definitely have not seen in quite a while is Uller already trying to get aggressive over here in this duo lane, and horrific emblem being popped to slow a little bit of the gas pedal aggression that Best Coast has drafted over here for duo.
And use that belch trying to get just a little bit more
might
damage
kill
off.
him.
Stun is good. Are you gonna get this kill off, Bacchus? He's diving even deeper. No, the tower is good enough. He does want it, but
this duo
I don't
lane
know,
is
like
counting their lucky stars at this point. They're going to try to sit here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Terra pick up her heal second just to try to get that as a solo kill. Tomahawk Warrior taking it to King Stampy on the Kukulkan in solo lane.
We've seen quite a few of those solo kills over in the early game from Tomahawk Warrior. Very well played coming out from him over there on that side. Ooh, stun coming out here in the middle of mid lane. Lots of damage being thrown onto the jungler for Best Coast. Trying to back away, about half health so far. Gets the knock up. No ultimate online yet, so there's not going to be a drag back. That'll confirm the kill anyway, though. Drag back not needed. Pittsburgh Adam going to drop right there on the Ravana. He'll be back up very quickly, but unfortunate that that gold is over Best Coast.
Pushed again.
Dual lane is
again,
getting pushed again over there.
Getting pushed under the tower. But I mean, we can talk a little bit about that kill. Maybe we'll get some time to talk this game, but not really looking like it. Chiron already burning his beads.
One kill, two
Uller
kills.
Picking up the double kill for this Uller, living at just a sliver of HP. But you know, I'll talk a little bit about the first blood for Best Coast, as it was a questionable positioning coming out from Pittsburgh Adam. Not really sure why him and Tiamat were sitting there on the opposing side of the map, you know, in between that. Robin blinks, looking for the Uller, not knowing Uller had already completed the back.
That's unfortunate. Using the blink just to gather an empty set of rocks is always very sad to watch. Over here, oh my goodness, in mid we've got fight, or actually this is solo jungle. Got a fight breaking out. Kick damage is enough.
Down.
Does get what he wants.
Everybody loves the classic Bluestone kill. It was super popular back in the day. Anytime you get the kill with Bluestone, you just shout out Bluestone, because it's the greatest feeling a solo laner can feel in these early games. Not only did you get the solo kill, but you got it because of your starter.
Very unfortunate there. Tomahawk Warrior falling, losing that 1 kill lead he has established over King Stampy. Now when the dust settles just a little bit, Best Coast, as we've seen time and again, picking up the early game lead, about 1,000 gold in the lead here at only 3 minutes. That will mean less and less as the game goes on, but for the time being, that does make them a little bit scarier to contend with.
Yeah, especially since, you know, some of this lead is on this Uller. Uller's one of the one that's going to be really good at pushing those leads. Once Uller's able to get ahead, just does insane amounts of damage, already building into that tier 2 of Mace. And again, Chiron living here permanently below 50% HP, as it always seems, but going to hopefully be able to sustain up. It does have a little bit of the self-sustain, but Uller, again, just completely bullying this Chiron out of lane. Chiron is not going to be able to get much gold at a lot of these minions. Going to be pushed under tower, as both of these support and ADC just kind of sitting over here.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And there it is, the 3 coming out. I imagine that had to have been the 3 from the Uller going to take down. Oh, so unfortunate, Hortluz. He's been absolutely just kind of bullied out of the game, both last game and this one, having a rough time over there in duo lane. Did get the Chiron from first, but not having anything like the kind of success he was looking for. Oh, this is a good bait. Pushing out just a little bit, but they were waiting for him around the side of the buff camp. Insta-kill coming out from the Awilish combined with the Bacchus to get another kill going over the way of Best Coast. Now a substantial lead in their favor, and actually both solo laners having to just mutually retreat because both on death's door. You make no mistake, that is there was more health in the bank there for Tomahawk Warrior, but Kokolin is scary at low health, especially when he's enraged like that. So that is easily could have gone the other way for either one of them.
This poor Chiron. Hortlitz is not having a very fun game at all. He's probably hating life over here, having to sit at his tier 2 tower. He is level 4. He cannot even push up. He is 3 levels down at 5 minutes into the game because of how much this Uller has been bullying. Pittsburgh Adam, you know, coming over, trying to answer some of the kills, or trying to answer and get a kill onto this Uller, get a shutdown bonus, but Uller able to jump away. He should be fine, as it looks like Terra's coming in as well.
It's a solid enough invade, does get a lot of damage off, maybe looking to get a little bit more. The leap is good to get Specify out safely, but that will at least force him to miss out on a little bit of farm here, maybe give Chiron a chance to play the game a little bit for the next 30 seconds or so before the couple duo laners from Best Coast can make it back over here.
Yeah, we'll see. Uller is coming back from base, so Hortlitz is about to start hating everything again. That tower's living on just a sliver of health at this point, primarily entirely from minion waves being pushed in. So, huge gold lead already coming out from the Uller. Does have that Jotun's Wrath finished, starting into that tier 1 Transcendence. Should be more than likely building into the Transcendence now. I doubt he's going for a super early Heartseeker, but Pittsburgh Adam on this Robin did do his job and was able to come over and relieve some of that pressure onto the Chiron. But another wave going under tower over there with Dual. Going to put that on a further last breath.
Yeah, it's pretty much some. Oh wow, hang on, fight going on here over in mid lane. Chunked down are these poor mid laners. The Tiamat combined with the Terra there, getting eaten alive underneath the tower. And yeah, we were going to see that tower in dual lane fall any second now. That was just 500 gold waiting to be picked up from the bank whenever Best Coast felt like taking it.
Yeah, that's one of the fastest dual lane tower tier 1 fall I've seen in quite a while, especially in competitive play like this. 6.5 minutes for a tier 1 tower in any location is impressive, but especially over in the dual lane just shows just how much pressure they had. As Wheelish electing to feather step does need to be careful, as Robin does have the ultimate and could try to get the kill here.
He does get the kill. The ambush not going exactly as reactive would have hoped, but the Uller is here. Takes the kill onto the enemy jungler just to get himself just a little bit further ahead. And that is the kind of the danger of running in a Wheelish in the jungle into a Ravana like that, is that he's scary. He's not somebody you want to tussle with 1v1.
Yeah, and I'll keep harking on it. If I'm Hortlitz, I'm congrats for Pittsburgh Adam for getting the kill on the Wheelish, but I'm also like, come on, dude, this Uller is already fed enough. I don't need you feeding him anymore. So Chiron just setting up shop under this tier 2. I doubt he's probably going to push up anymore. I will say the downside of getting a tier 1 tower this early into the game is how far forward this Uller is going to have to play in order to get waves if Chiron just kind of freezes them back here. But at the same time, Uller is safe enough that she should be able to have a decent time.
Ooh, fight coming out here over in the mid lane jungle. Terra dropping very low, will get taken down by this Raijin. The Ravana arrives just in time to get a kill on the enemy jungler once again. Reactive going straight back to the grayscale after getting out of base the first time. A second kill is confirmed. Pittsburgh Adam getting another one onto the Raijin. Now he's got to run. Good kill there from King Stampy, finally making his way over from the solo lane. The knockup is good from the Tiamat to get a little bit more damage onto the mid laners. Very low health here. Gonna be able to get away. That tier has a little bit of self-sustain. That was good. Now trying to rotate their way over, prevent the gank coming through here onto the Chiron. I think Best Coast can smell a little bit of blood in the water.
Best Coast they need to be careful here. There's a collapse coming out onto the 2 tanks of Best Coast here from Legionary Cohort, but it looks like they're going to be able to leap away and kind of tuck their tails and run as the rest of Legionary Cohort kind of grouped up to secure the red buff and try to secure the rest of the buffs for themselves.
Yeah, I felt like the tanks from Best Coast were trying to get an ambush off and had no idea they were the ones actually being trapped there.
Right. Exactly.
We'll get the red camp. Gonna spend some of that gold. Felt like we've spent the last couple of minutes just straight up fighting. 13 kills already before the 10-minute mark. Glad to see these teams are both on form. Nothing's changed here in Game 3. Still playing the game the way they do.
Still getting the arena, as we see about a 3k gold lead already coming out from Best Coast at sub 10 minutes and a 4k experience lead. A lot of that experience in gold is going to be over in that dual lane, but we do see slight leads coming out in solo lane, as well as mid lane. Raijin and Tiamat stand pretty even, but Bacchus does have the 1 level lead over the Terra.
Actually ahead for Legionary Cohort. Ravana light lead over his counterpart, just because the number of times he sent the poor Wheelish back to base like that.
Yeah, Robin does also have the 3 kills, so able to get a little bit of the bonus there. Is Uller again pushing up over here into this this dual lane, but this is what I was talking about earlier. The waves are so far pushed forward that Uller is very susceptible to getting ganked if Legionary Cohort elects to send over a couple members. They might be able to take him out, so he does need to be careful over here. He needs to make sure get some wards out, make sure he has vision of any rotations coming his way.
Yeah, good ward placement there from a couple members of Legionary Cohort, trying to suss out those invades before they happen, keep that Chiron from falling behind even further. He has caught up just a little bit with the farm going in his favor, narrowing the level of disparity between him and Uller to just about 3. So given time, actually look at that, it's only about 2.5 now. Has even hit 10 at this point. So given time, I do think that this Chiron can come back online in a meaningful way for Legionary Cohort, but he's got to play safe, and that may involve some uncomfortableness around some things like this neutral Gold Fury maybe going the way of Best Coast. I don't know if Legionary Cohort have enough players in position if they really want to fight this right this instant. Fury down low, about 10% health. Legionary Cohort steal it away, and they get a kill to boot. Incredibly well played from them. Going to get this poor Awelish going to be taken down once again. Now retreating away is this Terra, going to get himself out safely. Pittsburgh Adam providing excellent peel there as Legionary Cohort get both the steal and a kill. That's exactly what they were looking for. Narrows that gold lead to just about 1,000 as they pull themselves closer and closer to even in this game.
Yeah, really good, really good answer back there from Legionary Cohort. Able to kind of keep this game at least somewhat close to even, getting a pick and stealing that Gold Fury away. It's going to be huge for maybe a little bit of a bonus boost to morale for them. Once the game starts slipping away like that, it can look really dim, especially into a game 3 like that where it's a win or go home scenario. So them finding an answer to this that Gold Fury pull was really important. If Best Coast was able to secure that, I think we might be looking at a little bit more devastation coming out.
Absolutely. Over here in solo lane, you can see trying to get that farm up, try and catch back up in terms of experience is Tomahawk Warrior. Not going to have any of it as the Tiamat sees you standing there, and he will throw some damage on you, just to let you know he sees you.
Yeah, Tiamat seeing the Awelish potentially wanting to rotate into that mid lane there, but we're starting to tick over. A lot of these gods ticking over to level 12, looking to pick up their second relics. As we see, the Beads Aegis already picked up for this Tiamat, and Chiron is not looking
caught out. Going to use the ultimate, trying to lay down some damage. It'll keep him undying for the time being. Actually, the killing blow doesn't come through, so the ultimate won't end with him dying. Although he still does have to get himself out of trouble. Dash is potentially available, but no. Before that comes online, Uller is going to be there to get another kill. 5-0-0 now on this Uller, getting everything he could ask for and more over there in that dual lane. Blink coming through here in mid lane. The stun is good. Terra providing peel for the Tiamat. The rest of the players from Best Coast going to have to back up underneath their tower.
Yeah, Uller creeping ever closer. He's basically in his mid-game form right now, where most of his damage is coming through. He's already got his Jotuns, Transcendence, fully stacked, Crusher online. Gonna be looking more than likely to go into this Heartseeker next, dealing that extra percent pen and percent health taken off of enemies. As Best Coast picking up the Pyromancer. Oh no, never mind. I spoke too soon.
That's a second steal coming out from Legionary Cohort. They managed to get the Pyromancer after getting the Gold Fury. Now has to run for his life, does Pittsburgh Adam, as he's going to get executed underneath the tower. Cocoan finding exactly what he's looking for there. Now lots of damage and a stun coming out. That's going to be a dead Tiamat as well. So they do get the kill. They pay for it with 2 members of their team, though, do Legionary Cohort. And now, yeah.
They could do. Okay, they waffled on the decision, backed off. Probably
I think if they were
choice
full
with the
health, they would have taken it. Yep. But just being at about half health bars, just probably deciding not to go for it. And I think that was the right call. As you can see, a couple members from Legionary Cohort were in the area using the ult just to get himself out here. Tomahawk Warrior trying to get himself out. The blink is good, gets himself away, though there is movement speed available here as King Stampy trying to get closer and closer. Leap coming through here on BM Specify. Sorry, not quite getting it.
That's not. Just barely not enough.
Oh, Tomahawk Warrior going to get away with everything there, managing to get
Chiron's
out.
going to be real upset.
Oh no. Oh! The 3 is good, no follow-up stun, although, yeah, the leap is good. Maybe the Belch will get the stun he's looking for here. Yep, stun, hit with the axe, dead. Unfortunate there for Hortless, taken down once again over there in dual lane.
Tomahawk Warrior running over towards dual lane, saying, Chiron, here, you take this. He gets away, lures the Uller directly back to the Chiron. Uller's like, all right, I mean, I guess I'll take the Chiron again. Tactical feeding 0-4-1 Hortlitz on this Chiron. Not really worth too much at this point in the game. Less gold that this Uller was going to get had the Uller taken out the tier compared to the Chiron at this point.
Yeah, a lot of players for Legionary Cohort starting to fall behind pretty meaningfully now. mid laners being the only one that's about still on even. But you can see XP and gold difference actually favoring Best Coast quite a bit. XP more so than gold for the time being. Legionary Cohort, as we've seen in past games, do a good job of staying on top of camps, getting the best farm that they can, trying to keep the gold lead as close as possible, which is very valuable because XP does get diminishing returns over time. Once everybody hits 20, uh, XP stops mattering. You can only hit 20
exactly.
21s. So
Yeah, I will say Legionary Cohort again. The one thing that's been consistent across all 3 games is how well Legionary Cohort has done with keeping the leads from Best Coast from getting completely out of hand. And in this game, it's very heavily been on this Robin with Pittsburgh Adam able to steal. I'm pretty sure he stole the first Gold Fury, and then he stole away the Pyromancer. Both of those objectives that he took away. If Best Coast was able to secure those, would have been huge boons to their lead, and this game could have been getting out of reach, getting ever closer to that 99%. But because he stole those away, able to keep it close.
Wow, huge chunk damage going to secure a kill onto Reactives there. He's going to die, potentially going to follow up, yes, with his Bacchus going to die as well. On the backline, the Ravana does go down. Tomahawk Warrior now the next one for the target of aggression. He'll use his ultimate to get over the wall and maybe a way to safety. Falling over here, though, is, finally that Uller going to go down, but they will answer back with one onto the support player here for Legionary Cohort. That's going to result in a very low Raijin. He will get away with his life, though, keeping the Tiamat away from him just for long enough to make that successful. Couple players collapsing onto this solo laner here for Best Coast. That will result in a dead Kokola. Now the 2 remaining members for Legionary Cohort are going to try and pull this Gold Fury on their own. I think they will be able to get it. And excuse me, that is not Gold Fury actually. I think that's Oni. Primal Fury.
Primal Fury. Yep. They should be able to bounce this back and forth. Tomahawk Warrior does need to be slightly careful that he doesn't die to this. He's so low, but they think better of it and just drop it, and they're going to have to back off after that engagement. But again, pretty even trades coming out from both of these teams. You look at Legionary Cohort; they're able to answer some of the kills that Best Coast has been picking up. They did finally get the shutdown bonus onto SM Specify here on this Uller, which was huge for. I can't remember who exactly got that kill, but whoever ended up getting that kill onto Uller has a huge power spike coming to them now with the amount of gold that they just got off that.
Yeah, it's been a blast to watch this game play out as we're hitting about the 20-minute mark. Fire Giant starting to become something they can look at as the teams go on. Expect to see lots of wards, vision, priority placed over onto that side. Dual lane has been evened out in terms of structures. Chiron starting to bring it back in terms of experience and gold as well. So that lead that the Uller had is starting to close a little bit, especially after he died during that last team fight. Only about a level and a half now in it between the duo laners. So Legionary Cohort starting to bring this one much more back into a meaningful position. Those fights were ugly, but did put them in a much more comfortable spot as we enter kind of late game territory here.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I'm looking at this Uller's build. It looks like he's going into the Titan's Bane here in this 5th item slot, which I definitely would have thought that he would have gone into that Heartseeker. Typically, when you see Ullers, you see the Heartseeker being built 5th because it's just so much more damage. You don't really need the Titan's Bane just yet. As I guess he's trying to get through some more defense, but Tyr needs to be careful here over as he's getting collapsed on.
Yoinked back in, down to about 50% health. Going to be yanked back into it. Very low now, down to about 25. Going to be able to turn it around. Actually, I'm not in trouble. You're in trouble. As Reactives drops, Tyr going to have to back. Doesn't have enough health to continue fighting. But the remaining members of Legionary Cohort will be able to stick around, prevent this Fire Giant from going anywhere meaningful for Best Coast, especially after losing someone.
Yeah, call an ambulance, but not for me, is what the Tyr was saying. As he just completely lured the Wheelish back to the fight. As taking the advantage here. Legionary Cohort looking for the engagement here, knowing they have a 4v5. Well, 4v4 right now as Tyr is coming back from base, but they also have Tiamat and all Tiamat's minions. But Best Coast going to be able to escape from that situation, but Legionary Cohort again going to look to pick up this Pyromancer for themselves, which is going to again help close some of that gold gap, as we're now looking at just about 1,000 gold lead separating these two teams, which at 20 minutes into the game, almost 21 minutes, is pretty negligible at this point.
Absolutely, it's pretty much nothing in terms of the total goal that everybody has. So you may as well consider this game even for the time being. In fact, a couple players on Legionary Cohort actually leading in experience over their Best Coast counterparts at this point. So this Fire Giant is still heavily under contention. Everybody's game. I like the pickup on the Pyromancer to try and narrow the gold lead. Both teams going to back, heal up, and then we'll probably resume this dance again shortly around this Fire Giant.
Yeah,
Why don't you get aggressive?
Yeah, I mean they're hunting for picks, but not going to be able to find anything right now. Terra going to just heal up with her monolith here, but it's kind of unfortunate for reactives here on this Awilish. You know, they had a really solid game number 2 on this pick, going 7-1 or 7-2 at the end of it for the most part. Not finding as much success in this game, sitting at 1-5-4, hasn't really had that much of an impact on the map. You know, only assisting and being a part of 5 of their 16 kills so far. So hasn't really been able to have as much impact as they had in game 2. Putting more of the reliance over there on this Uller, who's now sitting on this tier 2, maybe looking to try to knock that down.
Yeah, Legionary Cohort have done an excellent job of negating. Ooh, damage getting exchange here. He's like, "You would like to leave now, sir." Yeah, the Legionary Cohort have definitely made a concerted effort to negate the power of this Awilish here. But what that's meant is that a lot of power has gone the way of the Uller and the Kukulin, who have started to run away in terms of the damage that they've been dealing. Because so much focus is onto the Awilish, the dual laner and the solo laner respectively, they're able to a little bit free cast sometimes during these fights and get away with more than he maybe should be able to.
Yeah, a bit surprising here. We see the player damage numbers come up, and you have Tiamat leading the game in player damage, sitting about 3k above the next closest, which is going to be that Uller and that Kukulin. So kind of surprising. I mean, I think that just goes again to show just how strong Tiamat is. You know, she's got a lot of easily confirmable damage, especially throwing out just even the minions or her air stance 1, ground stance. All the buttons in the world that she can press just all do crazy things and a bunch of damage. So seeing her at the top, well, it's not really as much of a surprise. I'm surprised Uller is not higher, but I guess a lot of his damage was coming on, early in the game on these lower health targets. But as this game progresses here, I think Chiron is finally going to start hitting his stride. He's been able to kind of farm up. He does have a very late transcendence. It's going to be hard for him to get that stacked sitting here at 23 minutes into the game. I like him to go with that Heartseeker first, but that Heartseeker damage is still going to swing true for the most part.
Yeah, that is something that you may never see that full advantage of that item come online as the game goes on. So very low health. This Terra's going to dash. Monolith. Yeah, you don't want to go in all by yourself. No teammates in position to deal any follow-up damage off of the stun, so Terra just obliterates. And that's going to result in Legionary Cohort having to back off from this Fire Giant. They may still, provide face, try and keep it from going away for free, provide maybe just the threat of a steal there. But yeah, Best Coast feeling very good about pulling this one right now.
Well, their best steal potential so far has been this Ravana, who is not present for this fight. He's going to get instead attacked by the Awilish in the jungle here, as it looks like they're looking to kill it. Best Coast does end up securing it as the fight breaks out.
Yeah, it does get the leap in, but far too late to get any kind of steal. Maybe just looking for follow-up kills after the fact, which can be just as good. Immediately, mid laner dies for Best Coast. They're looking to throw follow-up damage on the remaining members. Extremely low health is it the Awilish. Might get a kill. Yes, the solo laner for Best Coast does get a kill before he manages to go the way of the Dodo. Managing to stay alive so long is this tier that's incredible, including this, oh no, not quite going to get the ult off, does that Tiamat. That's going to result in a dead Tiamat before any damage can be thrown down. Now lots of return damage on such low health. There's so many members of Best Coast, but you can't confirm the kills because you just can't get in deep enough in order to get anything. Ooh,
with the lazy back.
Oh yes! Chiron finally getting some revenge, does get what he was looking for against the enemy dual laner, that Ulla that has been bullying him all game long. When all is said and done, it's a 3-for-3 even trade. Fire Giant does go the way of Best Coast, but it only sticks on 2 members, and probably not the members you'd really like to have it be on, to be honest.
Yeah, this Fire Giant is pretty much negated at this point. There's going to be a little bit of just the rest of the team members farming. The lazy back coming out from SM Specify, if he was able to, play it smarter and just walk back to his tier 2 tower instead of just sitting there when 2 members of Legionary Cohort were, still present for the fight. Instead, he pays for his transgressions with his life. Unfortunate. Best Coast does secure that FG, but like you said, only on 2 more members. So a lot of this game now is we're back to the stalemate again. The gold lead is sitting, close to 3K, which again, at this point, as we go later and later in the game, these gold discrepancies start mattering less and less and less. So a 3K gold lead with Fire Giant on 2 members, not really the best position that Best Coast wants to be in, but they'll take it.
Yeah, it's favorable over Legionary Cohort, but not by much, I think is what we'd say, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
So, yeah, they're going to look to take this Pyromancer. Actually, it's going to be Pittsburgh Adams just soloing that while where is everybody from Legionary Cohort? I think they'd maybe put a little bit more emphasis over here around this Gold Fury as it's the only remaining neutral objective, but they kind of spread soaking camps, kind of pushing up on this right side as they have recognized that Best Coast nowhere in the vicinity. It might just be the 2 teams exchanging tier 2 towers in opposite lanes here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Cohort's going to push anything on that solo lane. Kind of just gave up that tier 2 tower for free. I think they had a decent tower defense if they were grouped up, but a Wheelish getting kind of caught out by that Robin, half health already. Robin able to swing for quite a good chunk of damage now. As a lot of these level 20s start coming out, we start seeing a lot of these relic or starter item upgrades come through.
Looks like Best Coast plans to rotate through each lane and strip away the tier 2 towers, catapult gold lead further into their favor, and probably back up and spend their hard-won earnings on more items to get themselves in the best position possible for the subsequent Fire Giant fight. I expect that's where we're going to see the next big team fight, unless somebody is drastically out of position here.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised Cohort didn't mount up any defense at all on these tier 2s. I mean, yeah, it is 27 minutes into the game, and they do have Fire Giant on 2 members, but at the same time, I think you're in a decent enough position to put up a fight. You have some of the starter items already upgraded compared to your counterparts. Uller had not yet completed his Bumba Spear at that point. He does now have that complete, so this is going to be a bit more difficult for them to fight into Best Coast here.
Yeah, and experience starting to reach that negligible point. Almost everybody hitting 20 where that really matters. Obviously, we see our supports lagging behind just a little bit, but that's par for the course and doesn't really impact them too drastically. So gold and experience leads becoming negligible, and we're entering super late game territory where one bad fight can mean the game in either direction. So this is very much still anybody's game, and I think that's maybe why Legionary Cohort letting those towers go for free is recognizing that that gold
Uller
is
going in over here.
Oh no! Off camera, we're going to see an immediate death onto the Chiron once again, trying to get a counter kill onto the Uller. It won't happen. No! 2 go down, and the Chiron, or excuse me, the Uller will make it out for free from Best Coast. He'll have to back to heal, sure, but that's going to mean, collapse coming out over on the other side. The kill is good. That is the mid laner down for Best Coast. Kills going in either direction. This game is a slugfest. Trying to back around, maybe rotate around, look for more. Stun is good. Maybe trying to get some more. Couple players, both very low health. It's the Robin dying first, but the Wheelish is under threat. She's going to dash away. Blink is good. She will get away with that, so it's a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Best Coast right now. Very unfortunate for Legionary Cohort. Oh, this tier is getting chunked down as well at only about 5% health. Pops the heal pop, but the basic attacks are good. Trying to find something additional, and it will result in his death. Just the Tiamat now remaining for Legionary Cohort. This is bad. This could be game ending right here. There's 2 players are coming back for Legionary Cohort right now. A couple others will be returning within 30 and 50 seconds respectively. I guess I don't think the game will end right this instant unless something bad happens even further. Oh my goodness, counter kill. That's what Legionary Cohort needed. They need that counter kill to keep themselves alive in the game. On second one does go their way. You can't get out that direction. Gonna have to leap. He will get away. That Bacchus on Flower will get away, but now there's the player advantage is going over the way of Legionary Cohort. 5 up versus only 3 remaining for Best Coast. Fire Giant now available to take if they would like it. This is so close.
This game is turning into one of those games where it's like you mentioned, it is going to come down to one fight as Cohort able to pick off the Awilish who's walking through the jungles. I mean, these teams are just fighting for fighting's sake at this point. Best Coast does need to be very careful here. If they stagger these death timers far enough, Cohort is going to have a pretty free opportunity to take this Fire Giant. That's why some of those fights were kind of questionable, but Cohort understanding which god in particular is the problem and answering that by taking out the Uller on that Phoenix Siege. All three members that were up for Cohort all focused their attention immediately onto the Uller, and they were able to stop it before the Phoenix went down.
Uh-oh, in here all by himself is this Bacchus. I don't know about this, man. I know you want to get the steal off, but you're just feeding staggering death timers at that point. Pittsburgh, Adam going to pick up another kill, and there's another player from Best Coast in here all by himself as well. They're just going to keep running in here, staggering death timers one after the other. This is not how you do things, boys. They're going to go down as well. That's now 4 players have staggered their death timers one after another. Legionary Cohort picks up the Fire Giant. And with 2 players down for another 35 seconds minimum for Best Coast, this is a lot of infrastructure going to go the way of Legionary Cohort. I seriously question the choice to have 2 players at separate times go in there for Best Coast.
Yeah, Best Coast just conveyor belting into 5 members of Legionary Cohort. Like I understand it is an enhanced Fire Giant. That's one of the whenever enhanced Fire Giant is up, you never really want to let it go uncontested. But at a certain point, as soon as the Bacchus got completely evaporated, he was 3/4 health when he first walked in there, and he was gone in an instant. Raijin, you're not going to have any better of a chance walking into 5 members or. Everybody is essentially full build at this point. Only a couple items maybe left to finish off, but for the most part, there's nothing that's going to be left for these guys to pick up except some like 3K pots, maybe some 3K power, 3K defense pots. But Chiron definitely feeling much better now after getting through surviving the horrific early game that he had.
Not just Chiron. I mean, Legionary Cohort as a whole, kill lead only 5 at this point. Gold lead so close as makes no difference. This is anybody's game. And the fact that there is EFG buff on Legionary Cohort means they're actually ahead in this case. Have all the advantages in the world. Lots of stun coming off here. I don't know if you want to be caught out all by yourself. You're Terra, but you don't want to take that much damage for free. That's not the first time we've seen this Terra step just a little bit too far forward and take a huge chunk of health, maybe even die just because of positioning. I'd like to see a little more restraint, play with your team just a little bit more. Because, yeah, you're tanky as Terra, but you want all the health you can get. Losing so much in one go is bad.
Yeah, Chiron forced to ult to kind of push Best Coast away as Cohort's looking to knock down the remaining of these towers, weaken that Titan health to make it a little bit easier if they elect to finally go for the siege. But yeah, you mentioned it. We're at the point of the game where kills on the scoreboard don't really matter. That 19 to 24 means almost nothing at this point. It led us to this point, but at the same time, we're here now, so all it comes down to is who is going to team fight better. And when it comes to team fighting, I think I'm starting to favor Cohort's team fight much better than I do Best Coast. Anytime you have a Terra on your team and a Terra ultimate, I immediately start favoring you to win team fights. The ultimate is just such a huge impact. It's such a large area, bonus healing for your team, bonus damage against the enemy team. It's just going to be pretty oppressive to try to deal with.
Uh-oh, trying to get over here all by himself. I don't like that at all from Pittsburgh. Adam throwing away his life under the left side. Phoenix going to die to the enemy jungler. That places Legionary Cohort at a man disadvantage and strips away one of the EFG buffs they had worked so hard to obtain. Now they got to run. You can't stay anymore. With the game on the line, you do not want to take the risk that you roll badly in a 4 versus 5 team fight. Fire Giant, powerful, but not that powerful. So that completely ends any opportunity for Phoenix Siege there for Legionary Cohort. They're going to take away this Pyromancer on their way out, but that is all they will get for the time being.
Yeah, we kind of need Phil Swift to come on for the guest host to just give us
That's a lot of
damage. Wheelish coming out of nowhere. This is the meta change that happened with some of the most recent updates to Smite with all the jungle items getting buffed, all of these ability damage junglers just swinging for massive amounts of damage. The Bumbus Spear, the Heart Seeker, all the maces, just doing just ridiculous amounts of damage. So you have those, almost immediate, like just you snap your finger, Thanos comes up, snaps, and you're just evaporated, you're gone instantly. Reactive's able to win that little 1v1 there against the Robin, even through the immunity that Robin has.
Yeah, especially as you get the later stages of these hunter builds start to do the same thing. They get crit online. They get so much burst potential that they kind of become powerful in the same way that the junglers do. That you're caught out of position for half a second and they can burst you down so fast.
Yeah,
exactly. Wow, Legionary Cohort do rotate over and pick up the Fury. No ward vision. Best Coast not in position to take that away. Although Terra, once again, the center of attention, getting a lot of focus onto her as she's frantically running away down the lane. Just enough.
No.
Gets herself away there. But yeah.
The death ball rolling, channeling the inner Indiana Jones as Terra running away from the death ball rolling down lane at her. But it's all going to come. A lot of this is going to come down to this Fire Giant. Who's going to be able to secure it? Cohort did able to secure that Primal Fury there that just spawned. So they're going to have the bonus damage to the objective here. So they're going to be able to burn it slightly faster than what Best Coast does. But at any point, if any of these carries are left uncontested on the objective, this Fire Giant is not going to be around for very long.
Although burning of the objective maybe less what we're going to find important here, as I reckon we're going to see a team fight first and then the Fire Giant taken afterwards. The only touching of the Fire Giant here I expect will be a pull to force a team fight to happen. But even that may be unlikely, as both teams know how much of a razor's edge this game is on at this point.
We can take a little bit of a moment here to kind of look at some of these builds. We look at especially the support builds. We see a Obsidian Shard coming out from Terra. I'm not entirely sure that is particularly the best item that Terra wants to build late game.
It's okay because we have Mystical Mail for this Bacchus on the other side.
Oh yeah, exactly. Both of these supports have gone very selfish builds. Terra not even going Gauntlet of Thebes in any aura items. The only aura she has is the Sentinels there, which at least Bacchus built Gauntlet of Thebes and a late Sovereignty, but a lot of selfish builds coming out from the supports, but up to this point, for the most part, it's been working out. Terra, though, has been killed 6 times so far in this match, but anytime she hits that ultimate, is going to be a ton of damage as the fight's breaking out now.
Looks like the leap comes through, tries to get a stun off with the Belch, but peel provided from both teams good enough to kind of force them to reset. Team fight doesn't go anywhere meaningful in the short term. Although, once again, a little too far forward. This Terra taking a big chunk of health, throws down the Monolith to get some heal. Rockets goes deep, uses his ultimate to make people a little bit intoxicated. Then everybody has to kind of regroup once again around this Monolith, get a little bit more healing up. Not enough follow-up damage from Best Coast in order to get anything following the ult from Bacchus there.
Yeah, the Curse Donk as the fight is continuing. Bacchus leaps in, Cocolan going in as well. Terra ult finally popped. It's going to be a bunch of damage coming out. Pridwin procs coming through. A lot of fighting, not a ton of damage coming out just yet, as Tiamat and the rest of Legionary Cohort are starting to back up.
Most of the members of Legionary Cohort looking relatively healthy. The first to fall is one on Best Coast, but it's answered back for the Terra. On Legionary Cohort, she was already pretty low. Tiamat chunking down that Cocolan as he pushes into the backline, trying to find something, and does find something against the jungler for Legionary Cohort. It's a 2-for-2 trade, though, as the jungler for Best Coast does fall as well. Here going to push this Bacchus deep into the side. He'll use the leap to get over the wall and make it out safely. When all said and done, it's another even fight as a 2-for-2 trade goes down. But Legionary Cohort healthier, as Team Stampy's going to need to back in order to heal. That leaves Legionary Cohort free to pull this Fire Giant. And I'm going to have to eat my words. It looks like the burn speed of this Fire Giant may end up mattering here, as the 3 remaining players for Legionary Cohort are looking at attempt to burn this down. Ooh, leaps in, does this Bacchus, trying to find additional something against anybody, maybe trying to find a steal off at the time, though. Best Coast, they steal it away! They do get the steal! Are you kidding me? Best Coast gets the steal, and 3 members remain with it. They got a one-off onto the Chiron, a kill as well, meaning Legionary Cohort only have 2 players remaining at the moment, and they're being chased down by this Bacchus. He's not going to have enough damage to confirm any kills, but this Tiamat needs to go. You can't stick around here. Yeah, uses the 3 to get into flying stance, get
Still
herself
in trouble.
Yeah, still in trouble, gonna have to use the ult to provide some peel. Tyr goes back in, trying to provide some peel. That may result in Tyr losing his life, though. Yeah, he's gonna go down. He gets the Tiamat out, but now there's 70 seconds until Tyr is back, and everybody is alive on Best Coast. Tiamat will make it out at about half health. We'll have to back to heal. Yeah, she should be able to make it back safely. She's over. We do see one over in that jungle there. That's the Ravana looking to get something. Does get something on the backside against this mid laner for Best Coast, finding something in the middle of disaster to get what he needs. Tomahawk Warrior did end up going down in that final fight, but he is going to be back in 45 seconds, and now 70 seconds remain on the only player down for Best Coast, as this is still anybody's game. Game is not over yet, despite the disastrous final team fight for Legionary Cohort and how many they lost. Going to be back up in 1 second. This Chiron is back. No Phoenixes have fallen just yet. This is going to be the first one to fall any second now. Yeah, mid Phoenix now down. Left side Phoenix is going to be burned down any second now, but there's enough peel coming over here from this dueling Terra to get a kill. They do get exactly what they were looking for. Lots of damage being put onto the remaining King's Stumpy as well. He will manage to get away. They will force the remaining players from Best Coast back. No Titan will fall just yet, but 2 Phoenixes do go down, and only 2 Fire Giant buffs remaining. Terra too far forward again, will lose her life once again, just being too far ahead of the team, not there with the team synergy. The Ravana dives in to get an additional damage, extremely low health. That is a very dead Uller going to go down at last to the Chiron, once again getting his revenge. They get the Cocoon as well. Only player down at the moment for Legionary Cohort is the Terra, who had died previously during the final fight. There's just 1 remaining in the area here. It's this Bacchus. He's going to die very soon. The Raijin has come up after his death at the beginning of the previous fight, but he's all the way back in base, so he won't have anything to do with this team fight. Fire Giant now gone from everybody, and 4 players still alive here for Legionary Cohort. They're running as fast as they can towards the other side. They should get Phoenixes. I don't know if they can end, though.
Yeah, go ahead and take a break after that extremely extended fight after that Fire Giant pull there. Best Coast and Legionary Cohort, both of them not wanting to let go of the fighting, as they're starting to push down on this Phoenix here. Raijin, the only one up to defend at this point. Wheelish coming off spawn, just throwing out as much damage as possible, bringing out the Aegis. Tiamat just full
they get him!
onto the Raijin as they do secure the kill and the Phoenix for themselves, and it looks like they're potentially going to back off. They could look to this mid lane Phoenix as well. Wheelish only one up. They still have 8 seconds left before Uller comes up. Although this Wheelish does do a ton of damage, they do have their carries on this objective. Looks like they're going to be able to get the structure and then back out.
Yeah, they go now. Don't try and get the third Phoenix. Don't stick around. You saw how much damage the Ravana took from the Wheelish right there. 1 or 2 abilities knocked about 50% of his health off with 1 move. They're going to have to back away. I don't mind taking these camp, but you need to do them fast. Take them and run, because the Wheelish is coming, and you can know she's thirsty for blood.
Yeah, a bit of, I don't really want to call it even over-aggression coming out from Best Coast. You know, they had the opportunities as Oni Fury, what was once there is now completely evaporated, and Legionary Cohort taking full advantage of that pickup. Now they are going to have the Fire Minion waves pushing, or Oni Fire waves pushing, but these Fire Minion waves, both mid and solo side Phoenixes are down for both teams, and now we're sitting at a point where everything is reset, and now it comes down to who can get a pick, and whoever gets the pick and wins this next fight is more than likely going to win the game.
Yeah, we're reaching 45 minutes here, folks. This is no longer one good team fight will end the game. This is now almost one death will end the game.
Yep.
Because death timers are so long, team fights can snowball so hard that pretty much the first person to die can result in the game going over. It's obviously not quite that simple. You die, but you get a couple enemy players down to 10% health. You get a couple follow-up kills. It can change things. But if one person is caught drastically out of position here, that will probably be the game at this point, just because of how long death timers are.
Yeah, Tiamat sitting over here in that solo lane as 5 members of Best Coast are kind of grouping around this power match. Tiamat does need to be careful. She has 2 members collapsing on her right now.
She has gotten in a little bit of trouble, going to try and provide some fuel for herself. Team members are here.
Oh my
goodness! Eaten alive is that Wheelish. The jump is good. Tyr gets the kill. Wheelish taken down first, but now Tyr very low health, going to have to run away, but he's got mobility speed. He can get that.
Chiron damage.
Chiron with the ult chunks down the enemy. Going to get the kill that he was looking for onto the Uller. Wow, the surrender vote has started. Oh my goodness, this is not the time for that.
That
As
might
another
actually go
player
through.
goes down for Best Coast, I think this is the beginning of the end. That's the Chiron picking up another
Four
kill.
down.
Over here, the only one remaining is this Bacchus. He'll be locked down in between the Fire Giants.
five.
They'll take him down. Dia's side goes through, and Legionary Cohort, after 45 minutes, will be your victors. They take it in 3 games. They don't even get to the Titan. The surrender goes through. I didn't even know you could do that in competitive games. Holy cow.
That game was over. Surrender or not coming through. Best Coast Tiamat just completely evaporated the Kokolin and the Awelish that were trying to gank that Tiamat. Got the full channel off on that one, and Awelish just ate the full brunt of it. Just an insane ending to this whole set. Legionary Cohort able to pull it out in the end and secure themselves to move on into the playoffs. But huge congratulations to both of these teams, for even making it to this point in the set. Anytime we get a chance to go to 3 games, it's just fantastic. And I don't think we've had 2 amazing 3-game sets, one yesterday and one today, both of them with exciting endings. Definitely something that we're always excited to see. This is playoff AGL. This is what it's all about.
Broken. My voice is ruined. I'm a puddle of sweat. I'm broken. That was insane. I loved every minute of it. Well played to both teams, absolutely playing their hearts out. Both the second and third games absolutely on a razor's edge. The third one even more so. The most respect I can possibly give to both teams. Best Coast played their hearts out, but that final team fight just went the way of a Legionary Cohort, and they are the ones to walk away with the victory today. I'm gonna need to go lay down after that one. We had an absolute blast here tonight casting these games between these two, and we can't wait to see what comes next for Legionary Cohort in their next round of the playoffs here. Let's throw this one back over to the desk so they can make some sense about what just happened to us. But we're gonna see that soon.
What a game. Snake, I believe you are muted here, my good sir.
Yeah, I was muted. Thank
There
you
we go.
very much. But also thank you to Voiceless and Norwell to that amazing cast. I guess Voiceless is now voiceless because all of that happened in that game. But again, I think this was an insane game. What a way to end, like I said, a playoff set.
Yeah, I would be as voiceless as I'm sure he is after that game, and a wild game 3. But first thing I gotta say, shout out to Enclave 3 on that Tiamat. 10-3, top damage in the whole match by a large margin. I think somewhere upwards of 50,000. Next Coast is not even hitting 40,000, and a big reason that the team comes through. But like they mentioned on the desk, both teams played their heart outs. A wonderful game, three game set from both teams, and I was excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, and looking about what happened, because early game we saw a really dominant dual lane by Best Coast. They were bullying so hard on that Chiron, and somehow they ended winning the game. So, what do you think was the breaking point for the Legionary Cohort to win this game? Because early game was all about Best Coast.
Yeah, it was, and even late game, but I think really just their jungler, that Ravana, they're able to kind of stall that game out, get some of these the Gold Fury steals and the objective steals, really putting this game out there. Really made it close, but once they started securing around these objectives, really starting to be able to close out towards that late game, and that late siege as well. They didn't talk about it too much on the cast, but Tiamat tanking the mid Phoenix, only one being full health, even using the Aegis to make sure they get both those Phoenixes before dipping out there. Just all around some good macro play in the late game, and a lot of times it's 1 or 2 fights that can win you a game. You might put in work for the entire 30, 40 minutes before that, but it's those last couple of fights where it can make a difference, and Legionary Cohort just had a little bit extra there to be able to come out on top.
Yeah, I think that Best Coast, they had maybe the mistake of not capitalizing the lead that they had in the early game, especially in that duel lane. Like they could easily make like a snowball effect from that duel lane in the early game, but they just didn't had the opportunity to do that. And when the 30-minute mark came, when everyone is like level 20, full build, like there's no lead that matters there. It's just who had the best team fight, and Legionary Cohort played that perfectly. And I really have no more than congratulate them for a really fun set, and also to Vescos, because really this was a good 3-game set of quarterfinals, and I really can be more excited to see what's next.
Yeah, 100% right there with you. And I think I'm gonna have to join voice this one and taking a bit of a rest. I had to cast the play-by-play or analysis, but it's definitely got me exhausted watching that. Good job to both teams.
Yeah, again, congratulations to Legionary Cohort for advancing to semifinals, of course. And for everyone in the chat, don't forget that tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST, we have another playoff match who can be, from what we've seen, can be way more exciting than what happened. But that's going to be for tomorrow. And that's going to be for us for today. Thank you so much for Batu to joining me here at the desk. Of course, to Voiceless and Narwhal on the cast, and also Illicit for the production. So we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.